Have some fun tonight. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We got to go, player. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Miss your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Oh, ridiculous, man. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. Two times, baby. Yeah. Holy crap.
Hello and welcome to NWP Season 6 here tonight on DannyBTalks. I am, of course, Danny B. Joined alongside of me is Jarrett the Iceberg, and along with Eric Eastep and Darian Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter. We've got a lot to talk about here tonight. But first of all, I want us to before we get into hot takes, let's say something that's Ross Chastain's fault. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, absolutely. It was his fault. We started the stream late for sure. 100%.
Yeah, Chastain, he turned off the Wi-Fi.
Ross Chastain put something in my way and I stubbed my toe. I can't believe he would do this. All right, let's get into the hot takes for tonight. Let's see. Jarrett, you're going to start us off with a hot take.
Ooh, I didn't even realize that was. This was... I should probably pay more attention to what I type. I'm gonna have a bit of a I don't know if it's a hot take too much if somebody agrees with me. I don't know if this necessarily counts at all, but I'm gonna say it like this. Due to the low ratings, the fact that the appeals panel has no stability whatsoever, and NASCAR can't enforce their own rules, and the team's upset with money on a down year with all of those added in, I think my hot take right now is that NASCAR's in more trouble than people think they are. I don't think they're going to die off. I don't think any of that stuff. Like, let's not go crazy with it. I don't think it's, going to have 2 million people jump off. But this was supposed to be a huge year for the sport. This is supposed to be a year where the sport moving forward would be able to have a bit of a jumping off point because it had been pretty stable and almost going up. I think that if they can't turn at least one of those things around by the end of the year, whether it's the appeals panel and how they enforce rules, how the teams get the money, or the ratings, NASCAR into this next TV deal for about the next 8 to 10 years is going to be in a lot of trouble, rather than if they can at least fix one of those. That's my hot take. I know it's not too hot of a take, but I feel like compared to how I usually have been recently, that's hot enough.
We need like a pecking order of like all the things you listed. What do they need to get done first, then second, then third, then fourth?
Team stability first.
I would agree.
That.
No, first and foremost,
get that agreed on.
I'd say team stability is better, you can work together with them and help with the ratings, and then the ratings with that, I think the rule stability can be the last. We've seen with other sports, we've seen with other racing series, like Formula 1, NFL, they can still do well and have instability with the rules. As much as it sucks to say that. But I think that's the 3 pecking order if I had to pick.
Interesting. Good stuff.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I say some people talk about it. I don't know if there's going to be like a split per se. I don't really see that
that's
happening.
too early.
Nobody,
too early.
Yeah, nobody knows
early.
what's going to happen.
Way too early. No, it makes for a very fun speculation, at least. So we can speculate on that. But yeah. So
Byron, you're next.
Yep, just about to go. Anyways, so Clint Boyer said on the broadcast he personally thinks William Byron will win 6 to 8 races. So I had to go back and look at the numbers, comparing, his 2022 season to 2023. And looking back at the first 7 races of last season, 38th, 34th, 5th, 18th, 1st, 12th, 3rd, and 1st. So he was able to get 2 wins within the first 8 races. And then 2023, the first 7 races so far, 34th, 25th, 2 back-to-back wins, 32nd, 5th, and 24th. So you know what? In my opinion, this may sound a little crazy now, but in my opinion, I think this 24 team has taken the attitude of either, hey, you know what? This is the playoffs. It's either checkers or wreckers, okay? Now, I know he finished 24th, but look at how many laps he led in the last race at Richmond, 117. And then, a 5th place finish at Austin. He was running up front for a lot of the day too. I don't think Clint Boyer's his 6 to 8 wins prediction is too far off. I actually agree with it. With the way Hendrick Motorsports has figured out the next gen car a lot better this year, I could totally see William Byron winning 6 to 8 races. I think he's on the come up for sure.
We need to do like Skip Bayless and put some Diet Mountain Dew on that one because I'm taking the under. I'm not 100% sold yet. I'd go 4 or 5 wins at best for William Byron. That's a good one though.
That's still a lot of wins though.
That's still a lot. That'd still be a great season, be a breakout
compared
year.
to what he's done so far in his career.
Yeah,
exactly. He's got to run before he can sprint. That's the way I see it.
Okay.
Really quick, before we get to the next one, I want to address the chat and then probably those listening. Yes, I do have allergies, Cat.
Oh, they were already speculating.
Yes, and I have enough cold medicine in me to take down a bull elephant, so I'm gonna make it through the show.
I'm just laughing at the typo that you made. You said that you was around a car for the first time in about a year.
Yeah,
and I'm like, the Midwesterner who drives everywhere was around a car for the first time in a year.
Cat.
I was actually around. I was around a tornado for the first time in about a year. That was.
Oh
fun.
God!
I got stuck in a BP with like every idiot in Illinois.
That sounds fun.
Oh, it was. It was. I'll tell the story forever, but not tonight. Anyway.
Eric.
My next?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, what the hell is going on with Legacy Motor Club? When Jimmy Johnson showed up, I thought they were going to take another step forward. You know, when it was just petty with Eric Jones, they struggled. Then last year, GMS comes in and suddenly Eric Jones is top 20 in points. He wins a freaking race. So I thought this year, at least the 43 car of Eric Jones would take another small step forward. And instead, these first 7 races, 8 if you include the Clash, they've taken a huge step backwards. And I don't know if you saw the report this week from motorsport.com that their brand new president of business operations, who was literally brought on 2 months ago, he's already gone. I don't know if he got fired, if he resigned, but he's already out. And guess what happened a day after that report? Their old sponsors, Tide and Gain, revealed they're with Colleague now. So Legacy Motor Club is struggling on the racetrack. They seem to be struggling to find sponsors. Almost every race has been Sunseeker and Allegiant. Those are both Maury Gallagher owned or affiliated companies. So I'm genuinely worried about Legacy Motor Club on and off the track. And I didn't expect to. I thought they were going to take another step forward. And right now they look bad. And that's not really a hot take. That's just what the hell's going on over there? How can we get this move in the right direction?
I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
I picked Eric Jones to make the playoffs, and I feel like an idiot now.
I might have too. I'd have to go back and look. Oh no, I was on the fence. I think I had him as my first out.
I think you were close. Yeah.
At this point, he's 25th in points, and Gregson's 29th, still looking for his first top 10. His Rookie of the Year competitor, Ty Gibbs, is on his 3rd straight top 10 this past week. So it's been disappointing. The schemes do look good. She ranks says in the chat. The schemes do look clean this year.
I love the way that those look each year. I'm glad they still are here for this race weekend, so I'm happy to see that. For my hot take, we're going to keep it dirt Bristol related. I don't know if this guy's going to even end up getting to make the race this weekend, but I foresee Jonathan Davenport getting top 5s in both races if he gets a chance to be in them. And if he's in that truck race, I would gladly have him to win this weekend. That man has accomplished so much on dirt. He's really good. I've seen him compete with the best on high bank dirt tracks before. He won at Bristol in a late model. And I saw him at Tazewell Speedway, which is a 3rd mile high bank dirt oval, similar to Bristol Motor Speedway. He was really good on a track like that. And one of the last times that I can recall his name being mentioned was when Kyle Larson went and raced over at Tazewell Speedway. Kyle Larson did not win there. He was beat by Jonathan Davenport. If Jonathan Davenport can make the races this weekend, watch out. I'd see him etching his name into the NASCAR winner circle.
Damn, I feel like our hot takes were like pretty even. And I'm really curious to see what the poll will say.
I want to point this out that, I stopped it when it hit the second after, but Danny's took 48 seconds again.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Is that an omen for this weekend?
We'll see. Yeah. No, right now, Danny, you're taking the early lead. I see right now. Eric's catching up a little bit.
By the way, we've done 8 of these, and I have the lead with 5, Darian 2, Eric with 1. So Danny might get.
We got to get Danny on the scoreboard. Yeah, we got to get Danny his first hot take award.
Yeah, it looks like it's more of a battle for second at this point.
And by the way, to the mods, we are on sub mode, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you, mods. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's get to it.
But moving on, I mentioned Kyle Larson when talking about Jonathan Davenport. He won this weekend. Good for him. His first win of the season. And he finishes ahead of Josh Berry getting a second place run in a 9 car. What do you guys think about all that?
Really all around amazing weekend for Hendrick Motorsports. I mean, you feel for William Byron because he was clearly the class of the field at times. Now, although we were going on those long runs towards the end of the race and he was starting to fade, but you felt like they were going to figure it out. And then unfortunately gets taken out. It happens. It's part of racing, one of those old racing deals. But then, that late caution helped set up Josh Berry and Michael McDowell, by the way. All hail McDowell supremacy, top 10 finish. Not Hendrick related, but back to Hendrick now. Josh Berry with the best finish of his career. You talk about like, people talk about all the time, oh gosh, if only I had an opportunity, this and that, blah, yada, yada. Well, Josh Berry got his opportunity under unfortunate circumstances, of course, with Chase Elliott, and he's running away with it, man. At first it was back-to-back top 10s, and we're like, okay, that's pretty good. Now it's a second place. Now, I get it. The strategy part had a lot to do with it, but he's still a short track guy at the end of the day. You just need to put him in position. And, like even Mike Joy said on the broadcast, like, oh, damn, for Josh Berry, it's like a 20-lap shootout at like Hickory or something like that. He's a short track guy, so he knows what's up, but it's still able to bring that car home P2. Let me just say this. If Dale Earnhardt Jr., when you ever decide to move up to the Cup Series, whether it's 5 years or 50 years down the road, something like that. It feels like it, right? Put Josh Berry in that car ASAP as your first driver. And also too, shout out to Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson won in the late Ricky Hendrick scheme on what would have been his birthday. Mike Joy getting choked up about that after the race. I didn't know that, so appreciate you, Mike.
Yeah,
for bringing that up.
It was a good catch.
Hendrick
by Fox,
Motorsports.
sure.
Hendrick Motorsports wins the appeals thing, and they're winning on the track again.
They're really big winners this weekend. But side note, go back to Josh Berry. I think it's cool. Yeah, he proved he's a good short track racer. Managed to wheel it, got second place. I'm really watching out more for when we get to Martinsville. He'll still be in a 9 car by the time that one comes up. And that's one. The 9 car has won at Martinsville before with Chase Elliott. He's won there before in the Xfinity Series and in late models. That's where I'm watching for him.
Yeah. Be
Great
on the
point.
lookout.
Talking about Kyle Larson, though, this is, he's been so close a few times already this year, like Daytona 500 for once he was up front on the final lap in contention. Didn't work out for him. He'd been outdueled by William Byron or William Byron's pit crew twice this year, late in races. So we've kind of just been waiting for Kyle Larson to seal the deal and finally win one. He's been so close. So yeah, Byron, got spun by Bell. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but ultimately it was Larson's pit crew once again getting him up out front, and he knew what to do with it. Joe Gibbs Racing on the long runs had Hendrick's number by the end of this race, but short run, those Hendrick pit crews and Hendrick drivers, like even Josh Berry, strategy got him onto the front row, but he held that position that final restart. He could have easily slipped, fell backwards, gotten manhandled by these Cup regulars. Instead, no, he held strong and finished second. So no, another really good weekend. I think Bowman had another top 10. So a really good weekend for Hendrick, but especially Kyle Larson. Like he's been overdue for his first win this year.
Who would you say? Oh, I'm sorry. Just really quick question. Who would you say the worst Hendrick car was all weekend? What was their worst run? Like what? Like just barely outside the top 10?
Yeah, it was probably Josh Berry running like 15th.
Yeah.
But even that's not bad for a sub driver.
Well, that's a pretty good indicator.
What impressed me about Berry is that he had been running like 30th for the first bit of the day, and they just continuously got better through the day. So it shows the Cup adaptability at least. Even
though he got a top 10, he still remains a points leader. I'll probably say Bowman was probably maybe the worst one because he stayed up there because he started on the pole, and just having that starting position, I think, was a big help. He was obviously top 10 speed, but not like enough to stay up in the top 5. I don't
know about that because I think Berry was at best a 15th place car that just the track position helped out with. Like,
but he
Bowman
got better and
actually
better.
Maintained.
By the end of the day, Bowman by the end of the day, Berry might have been a top 10 car. I would say that's possible. Maybe it's just the cleaner air.
But it was pretty clear that, obviously, like, with no practice and qualifying during the weekend, it was pretty clear right away that first stage, and really the first 2 stages, were going to be basically like, mini practice sessions. At least that's the way I saw it. And then Josh Berry were able to take basically a 30th place car and, bring it up to the fit, to inside the top 15 and got lucky with the strategy too. I mean, hey, shout out to Gustafson, man. I know people get on him and stuff, but that was a great call.
It was Tom Gray.
Never mind. That's right.
I mean, it might have been Alan Gustafson on speed dial, but
yeah, maybe on the phone.
Tom Gray was on the box.
That's right. Hey, these other guys, these secondary guys are stepping up on the pit box and stuff too, man.
Kevin Mendering, I believe this was his first career Cup win as a crew chief with Larson, because he was with Jimmy, right? Wasn't he with Jimmy at the very end?
Jimmy didn't win anything, at the end.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it helps that Larson had worked with him before. Bowman has worked with Greg Ives before, obviously. So I think it helps. So there are a few of these guys had close common relationships with him already, and how many weeks has it been? Is that about done? Is the suspension about over with?
They got one more. I think this week is their last.
And really, it won't even matter. They don't need the crew chief this weekend.
And honestly, too, I mean, like, did it really affect anything in the grand scheme of things? I mean, they're still running pretty damn good, like spectacular. Like all four of their cars are.
Kind of, a little out of the Hendrick box, but I notice because I do see the ticker going on the bottom with everyone else. One thing, or one driver I wanted to kind of point out here, had a solid top 20 run, lead lap finish, was Chandler Smith in that 13. Yeah. He finished 17th, I think, if I saw correctly.
Yeah.
Yep, 17th. Started 37th. No practice, no qualifying, just got better. And Todd Gilliland, P15 as well.
15th for Gilliland. So there were some really good runs. And I'll be real with this too. I try not to tweet as much, unfortunately. I get
the bug bits you. The bug
gets the best of me. But I think I only tweeted maybe once or twice on race day, and my big takeaway that I put out there was like, this race, honest to God, was really good.
It was a great race.
I think I gave it like an 8 or so. Like to me, and this was going to be before we heard all the news, this is going to be my hot take. This is my favorite race of the year so far.
Yeah, I think so too.
I liked it more than Daytona. I liked it more than Fontana. So I mean, I think that what it kind of I would like to see what happens at Martinsville before definitively saying this, because I would like more than just a happenstance of 2 good races or 2 solid races with Coda and Richmond. But if Martinsville's a really good race on top of this, I think NASCAR might be onto something with this package.
Yeah,
good point.
It's good. I mean, it's past. I mean, like,
fingers crossed.
Because Richmond, like, people were judging the Phoenix race too hard, in my opinion. I was like, no, the real test is going to be at like Richmond and Martinsville, and the Richmond test for Richmond standards, that was a pretty good race.
Because last year, the spring races for both Richmond and Martinsville were not the greatest at all.
Yeah. Also the road courses, because they struggled a little bit last year, I think, by previous standards, and I think Coda before the overtime fest at the end was, I think, really good race. I think it was shaping up to be a strong one.
Now, really quick, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to go over the top 10 really quick, just to go over some more notables. Larson, Josh Berry, obviously 1-2. Ross Chastain and Christopher Bell, P3 and 4. We'll get to them pretty soon. Kevin Harvick, P5. Just putting SHR in his back. But you know what? SHR did run better this weekend. They were a little bit better. A little. Put up the banners, right? Put up the banners.
Hang the banner. We're better.
And also, all hail McDowell supremacy in P6. 7th, Joey Logano. Alex Bowman, 8th. Bowman is not the points leader anymore, correct?
No, he is.
Oh, he is? Okay. So Bowman's still the points leader? Playoff leader. Yeah. And then
you got to think a win's coming soon for him at this point.
No doubt. Now, this driver has really been impressing me the past 3 weeks. Ty Gibbs with another top 10 finish. Hey, Eric, I want to put you on the spot here. You were very critical of Ty Gibbs last year. I mean, we all were, but I mean, you seem to be like more of a fan of his in the beginning, and then obviously he did some stuff you didn't like. So, what do you think about him now? Do you think the perception, the whole perception on Ty Gibbs is starting to change? I think it is.
I mean, I've never really doubted his talent. It was just, his decision making in high stress, fight or flight moments. He had made consistently bad judgment calls, it felt like. My worry for him this year was, he's not going to be running up front every week. Obviously, he's going to be running 15th or 20th a lot of the time. How does he handle that mentally? Is he able to cope with not leading laps, not having the best car, not dominating? So far it's only 7 weeks, but he seems to be progressively getting a little better. 3 straight 9th place finishes, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
like at a variety of tracks. What's that? A road course, short track, and I guess a super speedway. So
for a rookie
yeah.
in today's NASCAR, that's pretty good. I know some of y'all want to go back to the early 2000s. Oh, rookies used to win all the time. Totally different era. In this era, I feel like the standard now is okay. It took Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson 99 starts to get their first win. So I feel like that's like the new goal. You know what I mean?
He's still within shooting range of getting into the top 16 right now. He's only 17 points out.
Yeah. Yeah, so if he just keeps this up. And then rounding out the top 10 was Brad Keselowski. Bad Brad, only led a lap, but I mean, he was
another top 10 for Brad, though. I'm telling you. He had a bad week at Coda, and I know he's maybe not the best road racer, but he was involved in like half a dozen incidents, but he came back and showed more top 10 speed, so that made me happy.
Side note on Brad Keselowski, I just got to say, I saw way too many people going in on the whole Brad thing today. I know there's another guy who goes by Brad Perez, but it's just a marketing thing. I don't know why people's getting so mad about that.
Wait, what did I miss?
I didn't say. I don't even know what you're talking about.
So they changed the name rail on Brad Keselowski's car for this weekend because with King's Hawaiian rules, and they put Brad Keselowski on the name rail, and a lot of people was getting mad about that because there was another guy who already kind of claimed that nickname.
And they also put different kind of shoes on an M&M. Important stuff.
I was gonna point out real quick. I was just curious. But no, wait, hold on. Okay, so Joe Gibbs Racing, Christopher Bell has 5 top 10 finishes this year. The second most top 10s at JGR is Ty Gibbs with 3.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, and
also surprising.
Well, you want to hear something else kind of crazy with that too? 3 top 10s means he's tied with guys by the name of Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Reddick, William Byron. So
now the difference is Ty Gibbs has led 0 laps.
Yeah,
so
but
there's the difference.
Hey, look, for a rookie though,
exactly. The trajectory is going the right direction earlier than I kind of thought it would. So honestly, I do think he's doing a good job to start the year.
But also, I'll also admit this: those extra starts last year for 23-11 definitely helped out in the long run. It would have taken him like way longer to get adapted to this next gen car had he waited. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But yeah, I mean, that's the top 10. I mean, some other notables outside.
Can we just talk about Truex real quick?
Yeah. Truex was P11, so we can talk.
Yeah, let's just talk about him right now.
We'll go in. Well, let's go and talk about him now because I assume everyone's heard the audio between him and James Small. James Small didn't tell Truex that he was on scuffed tires there at the end. And
so he's just trying to wheel it, thinking he's got a chance to win, and he doesn't realize that he's on bad tires.
Yeah. I mean, first, like Truex, the long run had one of the best cars. Caution fell at the wrong time. They played the tire strategy wrong. He ends up 11th. Dang, sucks. But bigger question, guys, is like, is the writing on the wall that this James Small Truex pairing, like, could we see a change mid-season considering we don't know how many years Truex has left?
I'm gonna say straight up yes.
It just seems like ever since his old crew chief left, like it's not going to be the right pairing like it used to be.
Well, to me, yes, because one, how are you if I'm assuming based on what the broadcast said, maybe I find out later it's wrong, whatever. But based on what the broadcast said, how are you the only team competing up front who doesn't have like fresh tires left at the end? I know that it's a Cup Series, it's difficult, that kind of stuff, but that seems like a rookie mistake on a crew chief's part. And then, I mean, I'm looking at his year so far, and yeah, he's up front in the points a bit. He's got 1 top 10.
Top 10, yeah. I'm looking at that.
Like when you're looking at guys that would be like that so far, you're looking at guys like Corey LaJoie, like Michael McDowell, Chase Briscoe. Like Martin, this is why I don't think if I did, he was the last one I put in. I'm pretty sure I didn't put Martin Truex Jr. in the playoffs this year because he's consistently gotten worse with top 5s and top 10s, and it's not seeming to slow up. Like everyone says he has so much left in the tank, and maybe he does. So I think a crew chief change will be big because 1 top 10 in 7 races, I don't care what time of the season that is, for somebody of his caliber.
They did win the Clash.
And when he won a Clash, I thought he was coming in like ready to have a rebound year. But
to be fair, I don't know that crew chief matters that much in the Clash. I mean, there's no real.
It really doesn't. Like the Clash, and this weekend the crew chief doesn't matter because they don't really do standard.
Well, I mean, they help us. They got to figure out the setups and make adjustments. But yeah.
Okay, look, Jared obviously said, definitely look into the crew chief change. I'm going to pump the brakes on that just a little bit. I'm looking at the stats right now. So he's been Martin Truex Jr.'s crew chief since 2020. The whole weird pandemic-filled season. Oh gosh, 2020 was so weird and awful. Anyways, first year, 7th in the points, a win. 2021, they take the next step, 4 wins, nearly wins the championship too. So we would definitely be looking at this in a whole different light if they were coming off of a very recent NASCAR championship.
I think we'd be looking at it worse.
Yeah, well, yeah, true that. Yeah. Either way, for sure. But ever since the 2022 season, it's like 2022 was like, it was a decent season, but obviously didn't win a race and didn't make the playoffs, and obviously not off to the greatest start. Yeah,
I think you can frame it in different ways too. Because the way I see it is, he's led less laps every single season consecutively since 2019. He's had less top 10s and top 5s consecutively since 2019.
So
the wins are sporadic, but let's be real, like that. Nowadays you can be a little more sporadic with that. But I mean, look how people were reacting. You're talking about, we'll look at it differently with the championship. Look how people reacted to Kyle Larson winning, 3-4 races last year? Everyone acted like it's the end of the world because he didn't dominate and win a championship. So
good point. Yeah, the point I wanted to make, though, is that obviously when James Small came in, he was not going to be better than a better crew chief than Cole Pearn. Like, I knew that right away. Like, you're not going to replace Cole Pearn and stuff too. It's it's just rare. It's a rarity to have a crew chief that amazing. And consistent. But I mean, the current situation Truex is in now, he's getting up there in age and stuff. I mean, if this continues, if we're at the halfway point and they're still having these streaks of like not being able to get top 10s here and there and stuff too, like let's say he has like 4 or 5 top 10s by the time they reach the halfway point, then yeah, by that point, I'm all for a crew chief change. But we still got some other tracks coming up that have favored them in the past. So I'm just going to pump the brakes on it right now. Just give them a little more time for sure.
Well, I just think of who you're going to replace him with. You're going to bring Ben Bayshore back up.
Exactly. Like, I don't think you're going
to
find anybody better than James Small. You know what I mean? Like,
I would love the Jason Ratcliffe one, but I think I've seen he doesn't want to go back to Cup racing.
No,
does he?
No.
Who's he? Is he with Nemechek now, or is he with Sammy?
I think he's with.
No, he's with the All-Star car. He's with the All-Star car.
Okay.
I'm surprised he wouldn't want to go back to Cup.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, Moonhead, how's it going? Love Mooncart. Anyways, in conclusion, stick it out with James Small. I mean, like, what do you have to lose? I mean, 1 top 10 in 7 races is already pretty bad. You feel like time's of the essence, because this could be Martin's last year. You don't know. Like, he's been pretty quiet about that. So you'd hate for him to. Yeah, you'd hate for him to go out kind of with a whimper. I don't know. So there might be a sense of urgency there. Like, we got to swap something out now, get the most out of Truex when we can. I don't know. I don't think they'll I don't think they'll make a change during the season. They might after the season.
I mean, something
right.
if he
sticks around
here is more in-depth statistics. His average running position in every race but 2 has been 15th or worse.
That's not very good.
Okay, I should say other than 3. Daytona, but I don't know how much you really want to count Daytona. I guess how much you want to count Atlanta. But I mean, looking at his average running position at Fontana, 20th. His average running position at Vegas was 7th. Then after that, 18th, 15th, 15th, 7th. So,
but he won the Clash.
Yeah.
Hang the banners.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of looking even more at statistics that are like more in depth, like driver rating wise. He's only had 1 race over 100, which is generally seen as the borderline of a good race to a bad race. And other than that, those 2 races, his driver rating's been below an 87 every week.
Well, hey, we got to give the crew chief rating a low score this week. That's all I'm saying.
I totally will.
100%.
And
100%.
And based on driver rating, this was like basically tied for being his best run race as a driver this year. And his crew chief screwed him out of it.
Oh,
I'm terrible. A Truex believer. I predicted this offseason he would have a big bounce back year. I thought the Clash was the start of something special. There's still time. I'm holding on hope.
To be fair to Truex, the winner of the Clash last year won a championship. So let's see what happens.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you.
He's gonna bounce back.
I mean, Jimmy Johnson won the Clash in one of his last years.
Yeah.
But he wrecked Paul Menard. You wrecked Paul Menard.
Yeah, but Paul Menard
had all the hell in the world.
Menard had that one won. He was, we were all getting hard for Menard that day, and Jimmy just had to tear our hearts out.
For real. That should have been Menard's last win, looking back.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on from that one. David Bell, cover your ears. We got to talk about Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain.
Yeah, we had to.
So it's all Ross Chastain's fault. How could he do this? How could he do this to us?
I mean, I do want to give Bell credit. He did later on Twitter kind of say, "Hey, my bad. I saw the replay. I had more room." So at least he sort of, I don't know if he apologized to William Byron. At least he amended his statement. But after the race, it was that he was so quick to call out Ross Chastain, the wrecking ball. Yeah. When I think we can all agree, Chastain did not cause that wreck.
Not at all.
Is that unanimous?
Net code issue. Total net code.
We argue about most topics on here, and this is not one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do y'all think of, like, memes aside, because the memes have for the most part been very entertaining. Like, do you think this is becoming a bad habit of drivers? Like a few weeks ago, and I'm sort of guilty of this, when Harvick spun at Atlanta off the front nose of Chastain.
I did it too.
It was like, a lot of people immediately said, "Oh, it was all Chastain's fault." And then people said, "Oh, okay, no, that wasn't. I guess they didn't touch." But even I was still like, well, but Chastain was still maybe the air. I don't know. But between that kind of incident, this one with Bell and Byron, like, do we have a problem of people just blaming Chastain for everything? Or Coda, like Suarez and Bowman immediately looked at Chastain, and Chastain did drive it in pretty deep at Coda, but so did Chase Briscoe. He wasn't the only one, but he seems to be the one called out.
He seems to be the scapegoat right now.
Look, I was thinking yes at first to your question, Eric, but I'll go with no, because I mean, look, obviously in the case of Richmond, that was clearly not his fault. But still, I mean, like, I'm not saying it's right, but Chastain still has a history of racing shenanigans like that every now and then. So, I don't know. Like, I want to say I'm 50-50, but like, I don't know. I feel like I'm more maybe like 60-40 on this. Like, I feel bad because it's like he didn't do anything wrong, and he's getting blamed immediately for it. So, like, that's wrong. But then, it's like, dude, you have a history too. So automatically people are going to start thinking like, hey, like, it must have been him. You know what I mean? Like, I think honestly, though, he should just run with this, man. I mean, now he's more memeable and stuff. He's the wrecking ball. Hey, for Bristol Dirt, come out and I came in like a wrecking ball by Miley Cyrus.
Hey, side note, someone jokingly said Chastain took 8 of Mitten's 9 lives. And the funny thing is, he was actually the one who was pictured with Mittens. He was the one who actually avoided him.
Well, I just think it's funny that 2 weeks in a row, drivers have kind of just like gone out of their way to call out Chastain during those like post-race interviews. Because at Coda, it was Kyle Busch, with Chastain like standing in the background, just being like, "Oh, speaking of drivers who don't know how to race clean or whatever." It's like just throwing him under the bus. Then Bell, with the wrecking ball comments.
What Noah Lewis just said in the chat, he said telling Ross about Bell's comments was truly awkward. You could tell it caught Ross very off guard, understandably. And I understand that, because at that time he just knows, hey, go talk to the media, and all of a sudden he's being told that. And what he said back to Noah, I remember, was basically him just saying like, yeah, well, they all talk about me behind my back now at this point.
Yeah, so that's what I want to get to. Like, I'm sick of this schoolyard BS. I'm sick of it. One, we talked about it before. Chastain needs to just freaking own it. He is who he is. Stop trying to play both sides. Like, you're not.
I think he has owned it for the most part. I think he has. Like Coda, he didn't really
for the most
maybe
part,
this year so far. But I mean, remember last year? It's like, I just need to do better, man. I just need to do better. Next week,
I
take somebody out. So
own it. Just own it, bro.
Own it, because I'll be real. You know what? We'll rip on him when it's stupid, but I enjoy it. We need somebody like Ross Chastain every week, because a lot of the times the drivers will just,
most of the comments I got on Monday, and even from my own mom, they all agreed that they love the fact that there is a bad boy again to root for. A lot of people are wanting that.
Well, where I was getting at though before, it was like, these guys, I'm sick of just finding out stuff on Twitter. I don't care if you tweet something like, ooh, good for you. You're 100 miles away from him, tweeting like from
Priest.
The pool.
Priest calling everyone hacks on Twitter.
Immediately.
Like Kyle Busch looking over and being like, that guy. It's like, okay, how about you actually talk to him? Like,
why don't you tell him how you feel?
And if you can't get through to him, you're still at least the rational one here. Like, I did, talk, like, Bell during his interview kept looking over his shoulder, and I'm like, dude, just talk to him,
bro.
Like, Chastain is not scary to walk up to. I've done it like 12 times. Like, he's not scary.
He's not imposing.
They're not
Yeah,
big.
he's really not. I think he's probably like my height, a little bit scrawnier than I am. He's not like big or anything.
Honestly,
Just
a
because we
lot of these
found out
NASCAR
this
drivers
week
are like
that he
that.
was on the grassy knoll, caused Chernobyl, and was there for the Hindenburg doesn't mean we can't talk to the man.
That's
Yeah,
true. After all the
but-
memes this week, he is kind of scary.
I like the way.
Side note, there was some good ones this week. I just gotta say
Yeah,
that.
there was. Yeah, amazing edits too. I love it. And Jarrett's was, oh my god, I didn't expect
Jarrett,
that.
you got people worked
But-
up.
I
God,
do
would
like
I not.
I do like the schoolyard analogy that Jared used though, because like I remember like basically like this might be different from like where y'all came from. Where I went to high school at. If you had a problem with somebody, like you just like immediately just go up to them and just like settle it, basically. You know
Pretty
what I
much.
mean? Like so, I don't know. It's just fun. It's very funny to see like NASCAR drivers who are supposed to be like these badasses, right? You know what I mean? Like. And it's funny to me that you see them after a long hard race and stuff like just kind of just pity patter around certain issues and stuff when it comes to Chastain. They're just like, oh, there he goes instead of like talking to him directly and be like, hey, what's your effing problem here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying like you got to cuss out the guy, but at least have a conversation with them, at least talk to him if you have a problem.
What I kind of thought with it too is and Darren, you were saying your version of it, like the school part, like this is also kind of, it shows some of the disconnect between NASCAR fans and NASCAR drivers in the sense that like, I'm pretty sure most people watching be like, yeah, if you have a problem with someone, just talk to them,
Yeah.
like even
like I didn't say fight, just like, hey,
talk
like
to
what's
them.
the deal here?
Yeah, like,
yeah, exactly.
you don't have to get in their face. You don't have to, you can bring them back to your hauler, talk behind the scenes, whatever it is. But like, I'm sick of this BS where we're going to tweet about it all week. We're going to talk on a podcast about it. We're never going to be in the same room, avoid each other at the track. I'm sorry. I stopped doing that when I was like in, 9th, 10th grade. Like,
Yeah, like we're all grown. We're grown.
This is like kid stuff.
I'll play devil's advocate to an extent. Some drivers have talked to him. What if they're just not getting through? Like Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain last year after Gateway went and had breakfast, and yet you still hear Hamlin a couple weeks ago saying that he's just trying to get Chastain to take any sort of accountability when he does talk to him, and he had a hard time getting that out of him. I've seen Kyle Busch and confront Chastain on pit road, I think at Phoenix 2021, and I don't know if that went anywhere. Suarez confronted Chastain at Coda last week, and I don't know if that's gonna. So like some drivers have, maybe this is why I'm playing devil's advocate. Maybe Ross is a really bad listener. Maybe he does have to own some of it. I don't know. And maybe drivers are just giving up because they know that he's not a good listener.
Then why put him on media if it's not going to get through to him? That's where I come to. Like
attention.
You want to win the appeal of the public. I think everyone knows that, like even fans who like Chastain know he's kind of like a pariah at this point. Like so they're winning the public appeal.
And also, let's be honest too. I mean, just like the whole media thing, it's a part of the game too. So like, that's one thing where like, hey, look, I also want to see, like drivers confront each other, most of the time. But then like, if you don't, then what else are they going to do? They're usually not going to keep it to themselves. They're going to tell, the media, sometimes people like you and me and stuff, like in the post-race interviews or whatever. And shout out to Noah Lewis. He's been getting some fire content post-race wise, and it's been going viral on there. So shout out to you. But yeah,
I'm going to say this. Chastain's going to snap at some point. Like, as you can act, that was the first time I saw him visually upset.
He's gonna snap.
You can only get blamed for everyone else's problems for so long, or race basically like how everyone else races in these late race restarts and get blamed for it so long before you just say, F it, I'm the bad guy, and you're gonna have to deal with it now.
So do you think
I'm gonna be low key tempted at the race this weekend if it's raining if I see Ross say, hey, people said you're to blame for this rain.
So Jared, in that sense, the way you described it, would you describe Ross Chastain as a potential ticking time bomb to the NASCAR field if this happens? Like,
I won't go that far, but I mean, he's been unapologetic. I think he'll be more unapologetic, and see at that point, like I think he has almost an intimidation factor.
Yeah,
because people talk about him and act differently about him than anybody else in the field.
Yeah, he's obviously in their head.
Yeah, he's in Kyle Busch's head.
He's in Hamlin's head.
Oh, he's definitely in Hamlin's head. Like he's probably in about 10 or 12 different drivers' heads right now.
We know he's been in Harvick's head before, just the Xfinity series.
If I'm a driver in the Cup Series field, I would caution. I would tread lightly with that. Because I don't know, like Ross Chastain's already enough to deal with, but like if you piss him off more, then
I
I don't.
wanna see
Oh,
that.
I don't know. I want
wanna
to see
see
it. You know, but like if you're a driver, do you want to see it? I don't think
side
so.
note, I'm just going back to the original Ross Chastain moment with Kevin Harvick in the Xfinity Series back in
Yep.
17. Or wait, what was it, 17?
18.
No, 18. Back in 2018 when that happened, and Harvick said something along the lines of, "Oh, he'll never get a shot in the he'll never get a shot in the Cup Series," and now he could potentially be taking his sponsor after Harvick retires.
Hey, I'm gonna have the tweet ready for that day when that happens. Like, hey, remember what you said? But
That's
yeah,
funny.
that's a fact. But yeah, hey, look, field, hey, for the Cup Series field, I would beware, tread lightly with Ross Chastain. You don't want to piss him off even more. Just saying.
I want to see it. I
Yeah.
genuinely want to see it, and maybe he'll step over the line, and we'll criticize him for it, whatever.
Yeah.
But until he gets,
I want him.
until he gets to that line, I'm all for
I
it.
want to see him snap so we can get mad at him for snapping.
I want to see it snap this weekend so I can get it on camera and get some views this weekend.
Hey, whoever he
There you
snaps
go.
on, maybe they deserve it. You know, we'll find out.
That's a great race, though. I enjoyed the race.
Just snap this weekend and throw a dirt clod at someone. I want to see that.
But yeah,
Mud wrestling in turn 2. Yeah, I was just saying, it's a great
was
race.
Yeah, it was a great race.
I'm glad we have a lot of interesting racing and like on track rivalry controversy stuff to talk about, at least for the first half of this episode, because I know the second half is not going to be fun talking about politics. So I'm glad we could at least start this episode with some kind of good, juicy, on track drama.
Wait a minute.
back
Hold
and
on.
forth.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. The NASCAR Weekly Podcast talks about actual racing. What? Yes, we do. Yes, we do talk
Okay,
about racing.
guys, I want to talk about Shugs for a little bit. He's a good kitty cat.
And I don't eat them, just for the record. I've never eaten in my life.
We don't have to acknowledge the
sounds
stupid
very-
chat bots.
Sounds very
I
incriminating.
blame Chastain.
Yeah, blame Chastain.
Yeah,
for that.
Ross Chastain creates the chat bots.
but-
If you guys didn't know that.
But anyways,
I blame
back to back to the racing though. Yeah, Richmond always puts on a spectacular show strategy wise. As far as the racing product, it can be very hit or miss.
It was
sometimes,
good this time around.
But yeah, it was great this time. It was great this time. I absolutely loved it. I mean, you saw a bunch of strategy stuff taking place. Now one of the first cautions we didn't talk about this yet. Just want to get your thoughts on the whole. What was Denny Hamlin's problem there with JJ Yeley?
I forgot about that.
What was that? He
says it was an accident.
Apologized. He apologized.
I wouldn't admit to anything anymore if I were Denny.
After the penalty, that's what I'm saying. Like after the penalty and stuff, I'm like,
As long as
okay.
he's not a Hendrick driver. He can't get away with that crap.
Yeah, seriously. We'll get into that later in the show for sure.
He doesn't have that right.
He doesn't have
But
plot
I was
armor.
like, but I was like,
Armor.
I had to go back to the childhood memory bank here because I was like, oh yeah, these two were teammates in 06 from 06
Very
to 07 at
briefly.
Joe Gibbs. Very long time ago. Obviously, they've gone different paths in their careers.
One left the other.
But the funniest part, though, props to Fox Sports, it was all caught in 4K.
That was amazing.
All caught in literal 4K on the helmet cam
That
from
was
start to
amazing.
finish. So I immediately thought, I was like, okay, he might have just like spun him out for a caution or something. And then, since, JJ Yellow's in a much slower car, then he might not have to deal with him or whatever as much. So, and then it bunched up the field, obviously. But yeah, no, that was weird. But props to Fox Sports for actually being at the right place at the right time. Usually they miss stuff like that. So you gotta give them props whenever they find it.
They got two. I think two of them. Because weren't they on Blaney?
Blaney,
When
yeah,
he
they were on
spun
Blaney,
Harry?
yeah. So they're 2 for 2.
Hey, they might not be perfect, but I'll be real. I honestly thought that the last 2 weeks or so, the broadcast has been a lot better.
It's
not been
better.
good, but it's been better.
It's getting better.
At least this week. This week
not
there
good.
was. The one thing I liked about this race being on cable, very few commercial breaks.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, indeed. But yeah,
All right, moving on. Let's see. I guess we'll get into the ratings.
oh god, hey, you liked it being on FS1 for the commercials, but like ratings wise, I don't know if you're gonna like it too much, Eric. So
No,
Jared,
it's
give
cable.
us give us the news. The news.
Yeah. All right. Well, the ratings for this race were cable-ish. 1.3 rating with 2.303 million viewers. So it was down 43% in ratings and 42% viewership, but that's FS1 versus Fox. It's usually down about 35 to 40%. So not a good comparison. 457,000 in the key demo, meaning 20% were. I believe that was #1 in racing for the week, as all racing events were down this year. IndyCar was down. F1 was down, I believe, 3%. IndyCar I'm surprised that was down.
Great show, by the way.
Something to note about this is that while it is low for cable events, and we don't have a good comparison last year because the first 2 cable races were rained out. Looking at cable races last year, Darlington is generally higher, so not a good comparison to a short track. This actually is about even with Kansas last year, as well as above Sonoma. So it's around where cable races normally are. It's going to be interesting once we get towards May to see how cable is different than broadcast TV. But something interesting to note here is that every other year, give or take, the ratings will stay even overall or around the same overall, but will go up or down on broadcast or cable. So, like, looking at 2021, for instance, Fox was down 11% that year, and cable FS1 was up 15%. And then last year, cable for FS1 was down 19%, the Fox being up 15%. So, it's going to be an interesting fold to look at, because I honestly think that the FS1 ratings will be a good gauge to see where we go into the NBC portion of the year. So, it's not the end of the world, still a little on the low side. I'm not going to say it was good. But it could have been much, much worse.
As much as I don't want to like give excuses here, my goodness, did you guys see the ratings for that women's basketball game?
That March Madness tournament basketball. for women's basketball, that was crazy. And also, like, what, 10 million people watched that?
It got 10 million. I looked at that's almost double the next highest rated women's championship ever, which was like 20 years ago.
So I hate to say this, like that's the excuse. There was a lot of eyes on that game.
What was like so different about it? I don't pay attention.
Because
it was Caitlin Clark, who might be probably the best women's basketball player ever, going up against probably one of the best overall teams ever.
Yeah, LSU ended up winning,
and
then
like
also
her last game too. Because let's be real, no one's going to see her.
No, she's just really good.
Yeah,
she's just really good. And she'll have one more year.
Okay,
and also like she like averaged a triple-double or something in the whole tournament.
And,
like
also,
I think her average like points per game this year was maybe 30 or more.
Yeah.
And also too, like there was that whole controversy with like the trash talking and stuff. You know, trash talking is a part of sports, and also too,
I thought that was
we know
Darren.
We know you like trash talking.
Yeah, and also Iowa and what was it? LSU. They're both like totally different culture wise too. So I think that had something to do with it. So
my big theory though. My big theory, what that told me, what the women's national championship being so big told me, is that young people like us will watch traditional TV only when social media tells us to.
Well, it's a marketing problem.
Yeah.
Like for NASCAR.
I just think, well, like, you know, the Ross Chastain viral move, if that happens, you know, the week, like the day before the Martinsville race, I bet that Martinsville race sees a small uptick. But because it happened after, and there was a week off and then basically a whole off season off, it didn't really do anything for the ratings. But you know, Caitlin Clark has been all over my Twitter feeds and TikTok and stuff for a few weeks at least now, and so the buildup was certainly there.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general NASCAR has just very poor marketing. That's what they need to do next. I think that's the next thing, because like
they also need it's also, you know, it's a catch-22 because you can be star dependent. Stars drive the ratings, but then stars eventually retire. Like Caitlin Clark will go to the WNBA in a couple of years, and we'll see if ratings follow her or if things die. I don't know.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, we'll see.
So this is random. Someone asked if Caitlin Clark was going to the WNBA draft this year. Technically, no. She has one more year of eligibility, and also she's technically not old enough. I didn't notice you have to be 22 to go to the WNBA draft.
I didn't know that.
Let's be real. Who actually cares about the WNBA?
Yeah, I don't.
Not even the end. Like it. But going back to NASCAR, I think with the star dependent thing, like every sporting league and racing series has some kind of star dependency, and the ones that don't fall off the face of the earth. Like if you see, so there's some that are just built for star dependency. The NBA is a big one. Like when you think of the NBA, I don't think you think of teams. I think you think of people. With the NFL is its own league, but look at Formula One. If you want to look at a racing comparison, like tell me right now, 2 F1 drivers you always hear about. Name them right now. Go for it.
Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris, because he streams all the time. I see Lando Norris.
I was going for Hamilton and Max, but
why do we not say Max?
That's what. But I'm saying
because he wins all the time. He wins all the time.
There's many, and they market them well. Let's not pretend that F1 races are bangers like the Daytona.
Hey,
You know,
F1 is down this
Talladega.
year too, though, despite a new season of Drive to Survive that's coming out.
But
So I don't know what's going on.
They're down less. They've absorbed the hit
Sure.
a lot better, and they've had races that have been up this year. So
No, I don't think so. I think they're 0 for 3.
No, they had at least one that was up.
I think they had
from
one that
years
was
before.
flat, but
give or take,
maybe.
still they've been able to win over a younger crowd because they've marketed to that younger crowd better. Whereas I told my brother about the Chastain meme, and he goes, "Who's Ross Chastain?" I'm like, "He's the guy who did the Hail Melon last year, the wall ride." What? I show him a clip. Oh yeah, I saw that while scrolling through TikTok for like 10 seconds. That's NASCAR had 100 million views, but they didn't capitalize on it marketing wise. How many talk shows did Ross Chastain really go on last year after that?
I didn't see any.
Like if it's me, if I'm in charge and I have the ability, even if I have to pay the network, you're going on every talk show possible leading up to that championship race, and you're going to embellish the shit out of that move. Yeah. Nobody knows who Ross Chastain is, even though he's probably, like, I would say personally, the most fun driver to watch every week. And he has something you can talk about every couple weeks. That's a marketing issue. Ross Chastain should be a star. He should be. For what he does. He should be the guy in the black hat.
This is what I said a couple weeks ago. I don't understand why every Cup Xfinity driver isn't streaming on Twitch at least once a week, isn't speaking directly to their audience, cultivating their own audience, going where younger people are.
Just go live on Instagram, showing yourself just what you're doing today or something. I know Noah Gregson will do that. He'll just go live on Instagram.
Yeah, some do. Yeah, and I think he has more young fans than a lot of other drivers.
See, the reason I chose Lando Norris as the second driver behind Lewis Hamilton was because every time I'm on Twitter, I feel like every week, especially during the F1 season, I see like some type of stream clip of his go viral. Like yesterday, he said Lewis Hamilton had 8 championships instead of 7, and like, that was pretty funny. Had freaking 10, like well over 10, 10K likes and stuff. I'm like, this is the type of stuff like NASCAR could easily have, because we have the fan base on the internet. Like I'm not saying like we would make, tweets go viral like that, but if they did some funny stuff or, some like funny little streams every now and then or something like that, then, the fans would certainly tune in. They would tune in, and if it was good or whatever.
It just can't feel, like I said a couple weeks ago as well, it just can't feel too corporate.
The corporate,
it can't be too overproduced. It has to feel genuine. It has to be like we're doing right now. We're 4 guys in our apartments on a Zoom call. Plot twist. We're not using
the basement. I thought it was the basement.
We're using a free streaming software, and we're just talking. We're just shooting the shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't
exactly. I could be doing anything else right now.
And I see some people talk about Haley Deegan. I think she's an exception.
He's great.
Like at this point, I don't know if NASCAR is really the main priority. She's got a brand that she can go do whatever she wants to now. At this point.
Like Deegan's a great example. She if every driver tried what Deegan did or committed to it the way she has, I'll even give Eric Almirola some credit. Like they put out those often way too overproduced YouTube videos, but I've seen a few of them like gain traction this year and get 50, 60, maybe like 100,000 views. I think I saw on one of them.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad. That's really good actually. So I will at least give him some credit, and he's halfway out the door. So what's the excuse for the young drivers who want to make a 20-year career out of this?
I think the issue is kind of what 670 package had put in his super chaz. That the Kyle Larson incident probably set that back a ton.
I don't know about that. I don't think people
are you kidding me? That was like,
hold on, Eric. I don't know.
That went viral for all the wrong reasons. Like,
I'm not going to say it helped, but I don't know that it's still like, I don't think it's prominently in people's minds.
No, but I bet it's prominently in people who have a lot of money invested in the sports minds, and especially guys that are up top.
Look,
are you just talking about like being afraid of letting drivers like stream or like talk
about letting them
I see what you're saying.
Freely.
Okay. If you can't trust your driver to not say the N-word,
you got bigger problems.
But then you also had Haley Deegan too. She got into some hot water for streaming.
She said the R word. Yeah.
When's the last time that you remember NASCAR going viral, and not for some kind of like before the Hail Melon? But not for somebody almost dying, not for someone getting hurt, not for a giant crash, not for something bad. When's the last time? When is the last time it was water cooler talk for people our age or like younger? For me, when it comes to people younger following something in NASCAR, an ongoing storyline, it was 2007 Junior leaving DEI. My friends who watched NASCAR casually would ask me about it. I had one friend that had a Bobby Labonte folder when I was in school. So it wasn't like it was super popular, but people saw it. They were like, "Wow, Dale Jr.'s not in the 8." And I know that Dale Jr. is a huge star, Jeff Gordon's a huge star, but you can market it to at least to the point where people will care. Say like Kyle Busch being out of the 18, nobody outside NASCAR I don't think really cared about.
No.
And there should have been a huge deal. I mean, Kyle Busch is one of those boom period drivers. Kevin Harvick. I told my brother Kevin Harvick is retiring. He goes, "Which one's he again? You didn't market one of your best drivers ever." Because he
I feel like your brother,
honestly,
to be fair,
even Kevin Harvick leaving the 29 should have been a bigger deal because that was that was who replaced Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing. I think your brother needs to pay a little more attention, Jared. Who's Ross Chastain?
But my brother,
Well, I mean, it's a good
my brother in
indicator,
a lot of
right?
ways is a normal kid of his age, like 21-year-old who's not watching the sport. Like there's nothing drawing him. He used to watch. He was a big Carl Edwards fan. He liked Kenseth. He liked Roush a lot. I know.
And then Edwards retired. Oh, what could have been?
If I asked my brother to name any of the drivers nowadays, he could probably name me Kyle Busch. And that was only because I didn't like him as a junior fan growing up. But you can name maybe Kyle Busch, maybe like one or two others. But I think that's just it's such an issue. They don't market their drivers at all.
I like this comment. Not knowing who Kevin Harvick is sounds like a personal issue, TBH.
And then this other one says your brother deserves an L. Yikes. Whoa, he's a nice kid. He's a good kid, bro.
No, but I get your point, Jay. Like
NASCAR fans are in there is a bubble that NASCAR fans don't understand they're in. Nobody outside of NASCAR fans understands what we understand with this.
So I wholeheartedly agree with you. The drivers need to be promoted, but I'm saying NASCAR doesn't need to do it. I think the drivers need to do it themselves. Like I feel like the drivers
it's a combination. It's not a combination of
anything NASCAR touches, like race for the championship on USA Network.
Oh, everything.
It just feels
bad,
so lifeless. To me,
one
not
to
everything.
go. Presented by Credit One Bank.
Yeah, I honestly like they can do some for sure, no doubt. But I think the drivers and the teams can do a lot of it themselves. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
And you know what, Eric? It goes back to your point last week about the whole corporate thing or whatever. Like people our age and stuff, they they see or hear something corporate, they're like, "Oh no, I'm tuning it out and stuff immediately." Like I mean it's just a different type of generation with that. Like I feel like every generation has like hated corporations and stuff, especially teenagers. Like teenagers have always hated this sort of thing, but like now I feel like it's now more than ever, especially now.
Well, because
Ross Chastain says race for the championship was my fault.
It's because it's so nowadays it's so time dependent. Everything has to be now.
Yeah, that instant gratification.
Come back from commercial. The NASCAR race is provided by this sponsor, this sponsor, this sponsor, this.
They did it again this week. They did like a 10-minute Toyota segment that I was like, oh, I mean, at least they showed most of the racing, and luckily there were a lot of Toyotas up front, so it was relevant. But I was still just like, oh my gosh.
Here we go.
It also doesn't help that a lot of people that are in and around the sport circle the wagon anytime fans are like, hey, we don't like this. Deal with it, damn it.
Yeah, deal with it. It's your fault. Okay.
There's a lot of issues with that side of it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting. Interesting conversation.
I don't blame Ross Chastain for us getting off track for an hour there.
Yeah. It's a good conversation that we could have like any week. It feels like.
Honestly,
it's evergreen content.
So on that note, what else do we need to discuss?
Yes.
The poll.
Oh, yes. Now it's time for the poll, the famous iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
So asking what people thought of the 2023 Richmond Spring Race Toyota Owners 400. 18% thought it was great to 58% good. Another 18 said average. Only 3 said below average. 2 said bad. That's the most positive Richmond race we've ever talked about. 76% were happy with it, net positive. 5% were net negative. The first comment was from Spencer. Is it positive, negative,
meme,
or meme?
Positive. I'll go with positive.
Meme.
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 He says, well, Richmond is called the action track for a reason. There was plenty of action throughout the field in this race. Pretty good race overall for Richmond standard.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Genuine and positive.
Damn, that's just positive.
I'm disappointed, Spencer.
There you go. It's a very base positive comment.
You had all the power in the world.
Bike Scout 22, who has a Scout Trooper as his profile pic. Nice.
Scout's honor.
No, it's Star Wars reference.
Oh.
I didn't know what it was. I thought it was Boy Scouts too, Darian.
Anyway, he
Continue.
says that was a great race. Strategy was a factor the whole race, and even on the long runs, the racing was close. Also, Fox as a whole was surprisingly good. The booth with Larry Mack was great, and it felt like there was not that many commercials.
Yeah, that's all it took was Larry Mack and less commercials, and all of a sudden it's like that was serviceable.
Yeah,
okay.
Larry Mack. It was great hearing him again. He's a nice change of pace. I liked it.
Oh, he brings energy.
Yeah.
No one yelling at us for being keyboard warriors either.
Vincent said, great race, proud of Barry. I know it was strategy, but second is pretty impressive.
Hey, second's still a second. And also, I mean, he's coming off of he had back-to-back top 10s at one point as well. So it's not like this was just like some fluke. So he's been running good.
Dexter says, feels good to see a race end without 3 overtimes.
I agree.
No, I agree.
It kind of had a late restart still, but I at least still all the most deserving drivers for the most part, minus Byron finished.
I mean, it had a late restart. Wasn't too chaotic. It was very sensible. So
yeah. I was honestly scared we were gonna lose the race at that point. Let's see what else we got. Roger Penske. It's like a bunch of R's and E's. Said, love how this short track package is working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure it's not NASCAR shill in disguise.
Hey, NASCAR show had some funny tweets. Those are funny.
That is quickly becoming my favorite parody account.
It's my favorite one.
It's great.
I'm not gonna read the last comment on this one.
Dang.
It's a reference to Larson. We'll just say that.
Man, we don't need to hear that.
But I'll look at the last 3 here. Third last one. Again, I'm not saying any of these or other people's comments. I'm just getting the whole story here. Jonah's Stuff says, terrible race. It was good for maybe the first 10 laps, and then it just became boring. Got so bored during this that I started playing some other game. I don't know what it is. Pedal Award lapping the field in IndyCar was more entertaining than this.
I mean, the IndyCar race in Texas was great. It was great.
That last sentence isn't like I can agree with that, but not the rest of it.
you didn't watch the rest of the race after 10 laps. Clearly did.
Yeah. Now. I need everything now. It's all a lie, says lame.
What was it?
Ghost Killer says, yawn, Mickey win. Hope they fail inspection. Spoiler alert, they did not.
They did not fail inspection. Did he get any reply saying they didn't fail inspection?
I already clicked off.
It was just
I don't think it was quite a Mickey win. I mean, he led a lot of laps.
Yeah, I mean, he was great. He was fast, straight up.
It's a Mickey win if it's not somebody I want to win.
Or if it's a Hendrick driver, I feel like Hendrick now just has this massive target on their back, and I feel like every win is just going to be discredited.
Yeah, it's been like this forever with
Hendrick.
But Bowman's just going to dominate every lap at Bristol to Mickey win.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Interesting comments today.
Yeah,
very interesting.
But that's the poll.
Yes, and that'll do it for this edition of the poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
And before we get into the Xfinity race, we're going to do things a little bit different here, actually. At the top of the hour mark,
that's right.
At the top of the hour mark, we want to say thanks to you guys who help support the show with these super chats. We really do appreciate everything. We're funded by viewers like you, so thank you for that. And we're going to start off going for 3 minutes on this, and we'll pick it back up later in the show. Jared's got me on a timer. So starting us off, $10 from Irvin Alvarado. Appreciate that, Irvin. Coming soon to NASCAR Plus, the comedic TV series debut of Everybody Hates Ross Chastain, starring Ross Chastain, Chad Chastain, Watermelon as they race every weekend and hijinks ensue.
Watermelon is a watermelon.
Certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
That'd be funny.
That would be better than The Crew, in my opinion. Antar Das, appreciate the $1.99. The NASCAR split is Ross Chastain's fault.
Everything's just Chastain's fault now.
Yep, it's all his fault. It's all Chastain's fault. It always has been.
Was.
Jimmy Leos, appreciate the $20. Hi guys, I thought the race from Sunday was great because they have a lot of tire fall off, and that is what the drivers are looking for. That definitely made it. That definitely played out to be pretty interesting because you always like to see the drivers have a little bit of challenge, especially your top level Cup drivers.
Yeah, exactly.
$2 from Isaac. Appreciate that. Favorite Mario game? If kart, favorite track, it's definitely got to be Mario Kart, and I would say Rainbow Road for me.
Rainbow Road, definitely.
I think it was called. Was it called DK Mountain on Double Dash?
I thought you would have picked Coconut Mall, Eric.
I do like Coconut Mall, but not DK Mountain. That bridge right before the
fun
flag.
Yeah, that's
absolute
fun
chaos.
Yeah, it's fun.
Alex Lupp, appreciate the $5 with all these Chastain memes. I'm surprised no one made a Toy Story joke with Rex yelling, "He's at it again!" and Mr. Potato Head yelling, "Get him!"
Oh, that would that's a good one.
Lost opportunity right there. David Bell, it says you became a member, but at the same time, I thought you already were one, so a little confused by that. But anyways, thanks, David. Spencer Purcell, been a member for 21 months of Danny B Super Fans. Appreciate that, Spencer. Said, I only have to go to 50 characters. Chastain's fault. Yeah, all him. Crazy Creeper 39. Appreciate the 99 cents. And this is your very first super chat. Appreciate that. No comment, just a 99-cent donation. Appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
Crazy Creeper. Jimmy Leos, you're very generous tonight. Appreciate another $20 from you. Did it come in twice? Said, hi guys, I thought the race from Sunday was great because they have a lot of tire fall off. That's the same thing. Well, appreciate that two times, Jimmy.
Thank
you, Jimmy.
Appreciate that. Hunter Nixon Fishing, appreciate the $9.99, my friend. My $100 fishing tackle order from Tackle Warehouse is late and stayed in the same location for 2 days now. I'm about to call Ross Chastain and chew him out.
Oh,
well, I had a fishing rod break in my tournament on Sunday, and it was all Ross Chastain's fault. And if mine is delayed in shipping, it's Ross's fault again. Cameron Duffy, appreciate the $1.99. Corey's worst finish this year is 26th in 7 races, referring to Corey LaJoy. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all.
Good.
Yeah.
Ross Crashstain, not to be confused with Ross Chastain. Appreciate the $5. I would like to publicly and humbly apologize for all major disasters and incidents throughout humankind in NASCAR history. So he's going to take the blame for the real one right there.
Damn, he's going to take the fall.
And that's 3 minutes.
And we will pick up after that. We appreciate everyone for your support of NASCAR Weekly Podcast here on Danny B Talks. Now, get to the Xfinity Series where we got to talk about Chandler getting his first win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Hey, props to him. I didn't watch the race. Me and IDK Player were at the fairgrounds. We were doing the broadcasting thing for Racing America. Thank you to the fairgrounds as well. Just amazing opportunity they got us going on over there. But the Xfinity race, I heard, was uneventful for the most part, except towards the end. John Henry Nemechek chose the wrong lane and cost himself the race. Am I right?
Pretty much. I mean, I can't remember if he chose like the top or which one it was, but I just remember the lane he chose was the one that always kept going backwards every restart, and he just kept choosing it.
Why did you choose it?
Hell if I know. I was saying choose the other one because I picked him. I wanted the pick points.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. And damn, Chandler Smith. Hey, Chandler Smith, I was giving him some crap after Vegas, but you know what? You finally pulled it off, Chandler. And I mean, like, finishes 17th in the Cup race too, so pretty awesome weekend. Yeah, great weekend for him overall.
I just know when the news broke that he was leaving Toyota to go to Colleague Racing, like we all looked at the Joe Gibbs Racing Xfinity program and thought, there's a couple empty seats there. One of them has to be Chandler's, right? And then he surprised everybody by going to Chevy, going to Colleague. Seemed like a decent but still risky move at the time. But I think he has 3 or 4 top 5s already this year. He's outrun Kyle Busch, I think, pretty much every race they've gone head to head in, and now he has a win. So it's, at least as far as Xfinity is concerned, it has worked out really well for Chandler Smith. I think he's going to be around a long while. I'll be curious here in a year or two. We'll start talking about where he goes for Cup if all goes well. And I don't know, will that be a Colleague ride? Will that be somewhere else? Time will tell.
It's just want to say this personally too. Like, whenever I do a video predicting a driver's career, or like, saying like, hey, this driver's hyped up. Like, I don't do those videos too much anymore. But when I did Chandler Smith, I did it on him back in 2018. and now it's 2023, and look how far he's come, man. That was one of my better
interesting.
moments.
So you've been riding the hype train for a while.
A long time since the Venturini Arca days. I was like looking at him, I'm like, damn, like he's winning a lot of races. He's only like 14, 15 years old. Okay, I think he's got something. And then but then also too, I've predicted other ones like Natalie Decker, and those didn't turn out too well.
I saw. I want to ask y'all. Chris McIntyre in the chat says, "Is it too early to declare Brandon Jones to JRM a failure?" I was looking at his numbers. He is still over. He has yet to finish inside the top 10 in his first 7 races in a car that nearly won the championship.
Yeah,
it's still too early. I mean, we've seen what Brandon Jones can do. We know he's a good driver.
Well, we've talked about another driver we've talked about another driver that used to underperform but seems to be doing better. Riley Herbst got taken out by Brandon Jones this week.
Hey, damn, Brandon Jones ruined Riley Herbst's top 10 streak. Riley Herbst, bro, you have been on an amazing streak. Please don't get discouraged. Just get back to it. It wasn't your fault at all. 100% on Jones. And Jones, like, he didn't even finish in the top 10. So you did all that and you still didn't finish in the top 10. So interesting indeed.
That was rough, honestly. It has been a rough start so far with that 9 team. Like I was expecting at least some, speed at the end of these races, some results. I wasn't expecting them to set the world on fire.
No, but really Junior Motorsports. Yeah, really Junior Motorsports as a whole. I'll go as far. I mean, I think for the most part, the team's been performed pretty pathetic this year too. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't watch this race, but from the sounds of it, it didn't sound like any Junior Motorsports cars were in contention for the win. Or am I wrong?
we haven't really seen them contending for wins, but I'm looking at their stats right now. There's been 7 races. Allgaier has 4 top 10s. They were all top 5s. Josh Berry has 6 top 10s. 3 of them were top 5s. Sam Mayer has 4 top 10s. 1 of them was a top 5. And of course, Brandon Jones hasn't even got a top 10 yet.
But 0 wins for JRM.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm just surprised though. Like I figured they'd at least get 1 by now.
Looking like a down here. I mean, who would have thought that at this point in the year, RCR would look a lot better than Junior Motorsports, though?
Yeah. Hey, RCR seems to be the best Xfinity Chevy team, or at least one of the best, at least better than Junior Motorsports right now.
And shout out to RCR for still sticking around. That seems like one of those teams that should have left their Xfinity program forever ago, like some of the other teams did. But no, they're still hanging in there and proving that they've got good talent there.
They downsized and then added a second car again. I think last year, right?
They took a step back and then they came back stronger.
Yeah. So it's good. Now I heard the Truck Series race is more interesting.
Yeah. Let's talk about trucks.
Who wants to start? Who wants to start here?
I'll say this straight up. I thought before the Wreckfest finish, I thought the race honestly was pretty good.
Thank you. Okay, I want to get this out of the way. I think everyone here owes my beloved Texas Motor Speedway at least a small apology.
I don't know what shit.
I will this weekend, just for this weekend.
Why are you saying your Texas Motor Speedway? Last week you said you weren't even going to go.
Hey, you know what?
I live 4 hours away. I can't just like pack up and go anything.
You know what?
I don't owe an apology for one good race.
There's 2 this weekend. IndyCar was great.
Yeah, but we expect IndyCar to be better than stock cars at Texas. Like, here's the thing. Kentucky had a good race. Doesn't mean I want Kentucky back. And I won't say good race. Had a good finish. I want Kentucky back.
Hey, IndyCar, more IndyCar ovals, by the way. They can put on that kind of show at Texas, then cool. But no, hey, I'll give Texas its props this weekend. Just very rare props. They did put on spectacular shows. But I didn't watch the race. But Sanchez, though. What is his name? Nick Sanchez?
Yeah.
Nick Sanchez.
Oh my God.
Dude,
he was
on it. He was on it, man. Like I know we've talked about Rajah Croof in the past, but I feel like Sanchez has been one where like we got to start talking about him a lot more in the future.
I mean, I think Rajah could have maybe won that ARCA championship last year if Nick Sanchez wasn't in the same series at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, he's been on it, man.
And
I mean, he's got that Cambridge sponsorship.
Weren't they in the same equipment last year in ARCA?
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is actually Rev Racing's very first season in the Truck Series.
Wow. So he's already, Atlanta, that's a little different, obviously super speedway basically, but for Texas to lead that many laps up front too, it was really a dream weekend because Gamebridge is the sponsor and IndyCar was there. And then him and Colin Herta did a little swap there. And also, by the way, Colton Herta did say on the show, I believe season 2 or 3, that he would like to actually do a truck race in the future at Eldora, but Eldora is not on the schedule anymore. But at least get him in a truck series race, at least
Like,
one,
get him in
right?
an SRX race. How about that? We need some younger people
SRX.
in that series.
Yeah, that's even better. Yeah, get him in SRX. But no, hey, Nick Sanchez though, great run. But
I was just looking. Yeah, he led. I didn't realize he led 168 out of what turned out to be 172 laps.
Yeah,
Yep.
All but 4.
I saw the stat sheet.
He dominated,
Like, wow.
and this would be no offense to Carson Hocevar. As many times as things have been like took from him, this would be the race where he wins, where a guy dominates the whole time and it's took from him in a last lap incident.
Very fitting, very fitting. And also, too, we can't forget what Hocevar said. First of all, congratulations to Carson Hocevar. Maybe one of the main reasons he won was because I didn't tweet out his name. Maybe so.
Yep.
Maybe so. Maybe that's one of the main
You
things.
kept his name out of your mouth.
I want to say
and
this. People were blaming him. That wasn't on him.
What was he supposed to do?
So yes, the way I saw it is that they were racing hard. I believe Sanchez was ahead of him, got in the grass, and he was right there. And is he supposed to just break
crash with him?
You know, like,
or yeah.
I don't see how that wreck was Hocevar's fault, or that Hocevar was the one who just turned him into the wall on, like.
No,
I'll say this. Hocevar, so Sanchez got loose on his own and slid through the grass on his own. He did seem to save it. And then it was a hard push kind of in the right rear from Hocevar that sent him into the wall.
But
Now,
it was the last
very
lap.
bang, I thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what Hocevar did was wrong. Again, but I do. Let me put it this way: if that happens on lap 20 and Sanchez wrecks, I think we look at that a little differently.
That's dumb. Yeah,
it's forgivable going for the win.
But that's the thing. So okay, that's what it is. I think everyone's morals are going to come down a little differently. I think there are going to be some who say, "Hey, bro, like that was a dangerous crash. I know you're going for the win, but you got to protect the guy. You got to be a little safer there."
That's the final lap. Yeah.
But others will say it's the final lap. You just, the guy kind of messed himself up. Or you're just like, why should you lift because he made a bad mistake?
Exactly.
That is a fair argument. But I just was wondering where everyone came down on that, because I've seen 50-50 this week.
Now, really quick, remember what Hocevar said before the season started? He told Weaver on Twitter that if he doesn't win a race, or like, somewhere in like the whole, or no, he said if he doesn't win a race, then he needs to be fired, him and the crew chief. Well, he has the win, so does this start a trend where it's like, hey, I mean, we've seen drivers in the past, all they needed was that one victory, and they start just coming and coming and coming.
We'll see.
It could just start going off.
Yeah, we'll see, though.
I think he has the ability to. He has the speed to. I don't want to say anything until he gets another one, but
I want to see him win one in dominant, like convincing fashion.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this was only, I know he's had some good runs and things have gone. I think this was only like his second top 10 of the year. Mm-hmm. Yes, this was only his second. I think it was his first top 5 of the season. I think he had a 7th or 8th. So he's had some decent speed, but he has not been getting the finishes this year.
Yeah, need to up
point.
that. Need to up that, definitely.
I like how half the people in the chat are saying it's Chastain's fault.
And also too,
I like how one person said they start what in reference to what Darian was saying.
And also too, I'm glad Dean Thompson's I'm glad Thompson's okay. That was a pretty scary accident.
That's a pretty bad wreck.
Yeah, it was not good, but glad he seems. Have we gotten an update since the weekend? Because all we heard was that he was released from the hospital, but was still
fine.
He was needing clearance. The team said he needed to be cleared by a doctor before he could race this weekend. I don't know if that's happened yet. If someone can check Twitter for us, if someone in the chat knows, have there been any further updates since like Sunday or Saturday?
I haven't seen any personally.
Overall, I'm glad he seems to be okay. Like by and large, he is okay. That's great to see. Great to hear.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, is that it for the weekend? Is that it?
I'd say
everything?
So. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, like we had F1 and IndyCar. F1 race was funny, by the way. It was worth staying up for. And then IndyCar, we saw that, the whole oval treatment. More ovals, please. But yeah, no. Great weekend.
Now it's raining, and we had some storms earlier.
Yes,
so
we
guys,
did.
I think we just went back under a little warning here.
Yes, we did. I think I'm getting struck with lightning. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR weekly podcast. Hopefully I didn't peek out the mic this time. Jarrett.
Not terrible.
Nice. I'm getting better. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for tonight?
A little bit here. Starting off, The grand marshals for the North Wilkesboro race will be Richard Petty and Darrell Waltrip.
Oh, that's fitting.
lineup.
That's fitting. Yeah, that's fitting.
Josh Williams has gotten a playoff waiver. Both those, by the way, according to Bob.
Shocker.
Austin Cindric's Daytona 500 winning car will be on Glory Road in the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
Glory Road is like the embanked part of it. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It'll be
That's
the last
cool.
car added in the modern car.
That's
I like how
good. They
they-
got one of those in there now.
I like how they switch it out every now and then with the different cars. That's cool.
Jensen Button has actually talked about going full-time NASCAR racing. He's looking to maybe do that soon. So
Hey, SHR4.
Let's go maybe Xfinity or truck. I don't know if
Hey, he's an F1 world champion though. You know, these F1 guys, just go right in.
Hey,
you know what
he
I'm
did
saying?
finish top 20 in his debut.
And also, the Ford car is going to be open. Just saying.
He'll get the 10. He'll bring.
Just
you know,
saying.
what if it's just a
when I'm
patchwork?
rolling.
He fills in for different teams, like some in the 84, some
Hey,
in the 91.
there you go.
Just
Yeah.
goes nuts with it.
Why not? That's interesting though. That's cool. That's cool.
damn pay drivers with no previous experience.
And then two more things here, and then one more big thing. Sugarlands will have a 75-year anniversary commemorative moonshine for NASCAR's 75th season. And Mike Joy will race in the historic Trans Am race during the NASCAR Sonoma weekend, according to Joy. He tweeted out today.
Wait,
Wow.
what? He's gonna race?
Mike Joy in the race car.
Go
He's
get
gonna,
him, Mike.
So hold on, he's gonna be commentating and racing at the same time. It's like Mike, you can't do both now.
he'll be yelling, "I'm coming for you, keyboard warrior."
No. Hey, Mike. Hey, you can't be keying up the radio the entire time to commentate. I know you want to commentate, but you actually got to race for it.
And
got to
then
race for it.
last but not least here, it's the deadline today for us hosts on getting our top 75 drivers of all time.
I have until midnight, Jarrett.
I sent mine in to Jarrett. I got it.
Hey, I got mine done way in advance.
I've actually learned what type of students all three of these guys have been by when they hand in their assignments.
I honestly forgot it was this week. I thought it was next week for some reason. You texted me today, Jarrett. And I was like,
Oh my
I
God.
need to do my review.
Well,
So my bad on that.
to send in your top 75 list, keep it cup only to make it simpler for everybody else. Send it to weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com. You have 2 weeks. This is your 2-week warning. April 19th. It's due at midnight. You send it 420 on, I'm deleting it. We're not counting it. April 19th is the deadline.
Somebody's gonna send it right at like 11:59 probably. Just
Ross Chastain ate my homework. That's my excuse.
We're doing this also 11:59 Central Time.
Oh yeah.
You're in
That's
Eastern
right.
time. You can be in the future or any other time zones, but
Yeah, you'll be okay.
midnight for me. I'm learning what it's like to be a professor, and I'm glad I didn't go into that field.
And if you turn it in 1 minute late,
deleting
you're banned.
Hey,
You're done. Banished to the shadow realm.
To the realms.
We're gonna delete your YouTube channel.
But yeah,
But
no, the
that's
email's in there though. I put the email in the chat. Once again, weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com. Send them over.
Yep.
And is that it? Okay.
That's it.
And
That one
do it
peaked it.
for this
You
edition.
you picked it.
Oh,
What
I
did
did.
he
Hold
say?
on, let me do it again. And once again, that'll do it for this edition of the Lightning Round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now back to the show, everybody.
Trust and faith. That's a lot of things that can go hand in hand with that in many aspects of life. But for NASCAR, those two topics are at an all-time low,
Oh,
specifically with the boycott and the colleague racing penalty. Oh boy, what do we start with first on this one?
Yeah, spicy stuff.
God. Yes,
Let's start with the boycott. The team owners choosing to sit out a planned scheduled meeting with NASCAR today, citing their displeasure with the ongoing revenue share split negotiations. They believe NASCAR's negotiating in bad faith. They want Jim France, Lisa France Kennedy to be in attendance for these meetings. And there's a lot. My head was spinning this afternoon. There were
It's
so
a lot
many
to
little
unpack.
details leaking
It's
out.
a lot
Yeah,
to unpack. Yeah.
Did y'all read the Athletic piece that said they've actually, it sounds like they've maybe come close to an agreement on like actual revenue sharing and splits and stuff. The disagreement is with the charter system.
Yep.
The team owners, no surprise, they all want the charter system to be made permanent because they've invested a lot of money into this. This is like a security blanket for them. Whereas Jim France, the CEO of NASCAR, the company that initially implemented the charter system, is against making the system permanent. I don't know if that's like just a Jim France philosophy, and maybe Steve Phelps, some of the other folks are like, oh no, we want the charter system permanent, but that guy at the top saying no. I don't know if Jim France is the only holdout, but it's so confusing to me.
That is confusing.
My mind is boggled at this point. It's hard to like really comment on this because I don't know. I guess my gut just says I'm more worried now than I was 2 months ago when it sounded like things were going the right direction.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that first part you said was very interesting. It's like, yeah, the owners want they want to make the charters, more of a permanent thing, but then the sanctioning body doesn't. But I mean, initially hearing about this boycott at first, I mean, like, I feel like, and I've speculated on this in the past too, like, oh, what would a NASCAR split look like, yada, 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 and stuff. I don't think it's gotten that far yet, but it really is interesting just to see, like, all the owners just, like, sort of, come together on this issue and stuff. And, because it was just supposed to be, another normal meeting and stuff. And then they're like, no, we're just going to sit this one out. So, they clearly have some grievances.
Looking at Jared's camera? Never seen that.
It was like given the little rainbow.
That touched a chord.
That's funny.
I've never seen that. Sorry. So this comment in the chat from Napa Racing Fan, it says, how can you remove the charter system? And that's the question I have. Like, say Jim France gets his way and the charter system either breaks down or dramatically changes. Like, you can't. Like, think of this from Denny Hamlin's perspective. How much money did they spend on that charter to get
millions?
Like $20 million, right?
Yeah. And you're just totally banned it, then it's like, what was the point of doing that? Yeah, what was the point of doing that?
Like, NASCAR cannot afford to buy all the teams out of their charters. That would be hundreds of millions of dollars likely. And I don't know how you'd even evaluate that. So either the teams will get shafted or NASCAR can't afford it. Either way, someone's going to be pissed off or it's not going to work. So I don't know how you phase the charters out, even if everyone agreed to. Like, it would be a difficult thing to overcome. So that's why my head's spinning, because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I was encouraged by the Athletic report that they might have actually agreed on some like numbers. Like, instead of the teams getting 25% of the money, they might get 35 or 40. They weren't specific with numbers, but like, it sounded like they'd reached some sort of agreement there, or were close to. It's just this charter holdup. I'm shocked that the charter agreement is what's holding this all up.
I think
reportedly, allegedly.
But I think that with the charter system, I almost think at this point that would be bigger than the revenue share part, because the revenue share, at least, even without if the charter wasn't in place, you'd be able to still probably have a similar split of it. But like I feel like the charters at this point, with the money invested, especially by new teams, has been so like just woven into the fabric of how team ownership is in the Cup Series. I almost think it'd be impossible, or I'd said it back before, if this was when the charters were first put in place, I'd be all for it. Because I think at that point you can go back on it. You can still have a similar business model. But like, when were the charters put in place exactly? Wasn't it around
I think it was it 16?
Yeah, like 2016, 17.
It was in the Brian. It was in the Brian France era.
Yeah, and it was well. I mean, it was well before we started this show. So,
yeah,
you'd be reverting back to what you were doing 10 years ago. The sport was in a completely different spot. I mean, just in viewership alone, the sport was in a different spot. Money wise, the sport was in a different spot. Broadcasting and everything with it, it would be the same problem we have with the current TV deal, where we're just stuck in the early 2010s in a 2020s world. So like I said, because when the charters were first put in place up until about 2019, I was like, no, this is dumb. Let's get rid of it. We're limiting the field too much. But we're at the point now that there's most of the teams left that show up every week are all charter teams. We only have 37 or 38 cars that show up anymore. Who's this honestly going to help? Like, what would it help to do it at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to open it up so that smaller, like, other teams could start up. Like if you're Dale Earnhardt Jr., all you gotta do is buy a next gen car and get people to crew it, and you can go race and have a shot at the same purse split as the chartered or as the other guys. Like, I love that idea, but I just don't think that's realistic. Now that's my point. Is it's like, if you get rid of the charter system, like, how do you get? This is how do you get rid of the charter system now?
I mean, maybe there needs to be an amending of it. Like, I'd be fine with 40 to 43 cars every week. So maybe an idea with it could be, I don't know, like a proto charter, where it's like not necessarily a charter, but it's the beginning of entering into the system. Your team is fast enough, has enough money, shows the
Like
ability
applying
to show
for
up.
an expansion team in other sports.
Basically.
I think that could be an idea, because when you look, the field has been split down because of charters. Most weeks now it's 36 cars showing up, maybe 37 if you have a Project 91 or a Legacy.
It's almost always under 40 outside of a couple key races.
I think this week it's 37. This past week it was 37. The most I've seen other than Daytona was 39.
Which, I mean, by all accounts, I mean, they're not terrible car counts, but I mean, you would like to see the full 40 field, though.
Well, I think more cars would probably over time, if you have the ability to have more cars, more teams, you can bring in more sponsors, more money. I think having a bigger field would be a better play. It's just, how do you get there with a healthy way of doing it? And I don't think this is the way you do it.
It's just, if you split, like, so some people are suggesting, we should just have 40 charters. The moment you do that, you have to split the amount of money each team gets down even further. So teams don't want that. They don't want to have to take less of the pie and give it to somebody else. They want as much of the pie as they possibly can for themselves.
My idea with the whole proto charter, I'll call it, I don't have a good name for it yet, it's kind of like going for Rookie of the Year. When you go for Rookie of the Year, you have to do X amount of races. You have to apply to do that. So if you want that extra charter, you won't get paid the full charter price because you're not a full charter team. But say JRM wants to field a car. Hey, if you can field it, say, 12 races this year, 18 the next, 24, and then after 4 years, you show that you have the time and money investment to do so, we'll give you some higher payments than a non-chartered team that is racing against you. You're not going to get charter money yet because we want that investment to be a real investment. But after 4 years, if you're outperforming a lower end charter team, consistently getting better or somewhat competing, you can then be eligible to be a chartered team. Because I would say that after 3 or 4 years of development part-time, a JRM 88 would be faster than a Rick Ware 15. You get a stronger field over time. It'd be both performance-based and money-based. And it would give a team outside a chance to jump up. Now, you'd also probably have to talk the lower teams into this, but if it's voted on by the RTA, I'm having a feeling the better teams would probably vote over them.
So,
maybe not. It'd be like F1 right now. They're refusing to let Andretti on the grid, because they just, even from the best teams to the worst teams, they just don't want another team out there.
That may
I don't know.
I think that if they're going to look at it as health of the sport as the charter system, you have to look at getting the strongest field possible. Because it's so different than F1 to do so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very complicated. I was just surprised that to hear someone, the chief executive officer of NASCAR, be kind of anti-charters, according to these reports. I just think that's surprising.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's following in the France footsteps of busting any potential union that might come up with it.
I mean, that's one suggestion I've seen is they're worried that the charters, as they continue to gain value, that it's giving the owners, the teams collectively more power, more bargaining, more influence. They do.
I mean, they do have more power.
They're talking about the exhibition series, and that's not a power they had years ago.
They could have done that without the charters. That's just the RTA, which was formed, I think, before the charter system was created. So, but the charter values going up maybe is what's giving them. They feel like now that's the teams are. It's almost like NASCAR. NASCAR built the charter system because they wanted the team owners to have value. But now the team owners have too much value. The teams are now too valuable.
I mean,
so NASCAR's like,
the team owners, they may have more value, but I mean, they're smart enough to understand at the end of the day, I mean, NASCAR owns the ball in the playing court. I mean, you're only going to, be able to do so much with with a large sanctioning body like that.
The teams also now have powerful friends in powerful places. For instance, the Cars Tour has been bought up. I'm not saying that it's necessarily ready to be transformed anyway, but
that is a good point. Yeah, I mean, they are looking at some of these outsider. You're
telling me Dale Jr. doesn't have enough money for a cup team, but he can buy a whole damn series?
See, he has. Definitely. The series part for sure.
There's big money that can be found elsewhere. I still think that the better call is to keep NASCAR together. I don't think there's gonna be a split by any means. But what I'm saying is they have that power to form their own racing if they wanted to. I
know it was way more difficult behind the scenes than it appears, but the SRX pretty easily sprouted up from nothing and pulled in 1 million+ viewers a week.
Yeah. I mean, and that was with, a bunch of old, drivers and stuff for the most part too.
And it was
Nobody
spec
really
cars. It was fun flags. It was gimmicked out the wazoo, but people still tuned in and watched.
We're going on year 3.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I think the biggest problem is if it ever got to that point, trying to, create, own racing league and, own racing series and stuff. The thing is that, just finding certain tracks to race at, because I mean, obviously, SMI, ISE, they own a lot of these big facilities. So if you were to do that, you'd probably have to start off, locally and stuff, at your short tracks or whatever, and build it up over time.
There's still some big tracks you could add dirt.
There
racing
are.
I think the fact that it's actually a conversation that people can have, that there's even as far fetched as it could be, there's still a conversation to be had about it, shows just how far this has gotten.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'll they'll sort it out.
Remember, was it 4 or 5 years ago we had Elijah on, and he had said something like that he thought there'd be a split by the 2023-24, and I don't think there will be. But we thought that was crazy talk. How could you even bring that up in a conversation?
And he said that back in 2019.
2019, somewhere around there. So it definitely has shown like how ugly this whole back and forth has gotten.
I want to read, I just pulled up Twitter. There's a quote here from Curtis Polk, 2311. He said, charters are the foundation that everything else is built upon. If they give you the moon, but they're able to take it away from you periodically, what good is having the moon? So again, the team owner saying we need to make this permanent so that, it can't be ripped out from under us and our investment becomes worthless.
Now that he puts it like that, I mean, he does have a point though.
That's just why I'm saying, like, how can you end the charter system, even if you wanted to? I'm not saying the charter system's good. Again, like you said, Jared, if we could go back 7 years, maybe we don't implement the charter system. But now that it's here and it's grown to the state, it's gotten to the state that it is, I don't see how you can take it away without bankrupting some teams or just absolutely destroying any goodwill or relationship you have with some of these, really all these teamers. I just don't see how you can do it now.
I think it would, because if you look at the chartered teams, I heard I think Dale Jr. talking about how $400,000 actually is a relatively big hit to Hendrick Motorsports. That's
not nothing.
He was saying that's the difference between making money and not making money year to year. Now I'm not saying Hendrick would be busted up, but are we really going to say without the charter system, Roush would have kept its 2 cars in place? Would Rick Ware Racing have kept up with just sponsorship alone? As much as I'm not crazy about the charter system at all, and I think that if the sport was healthy enough to get past it, it would be fine to get rid of it. It's not.
It's not.
It is not. And we would have, if like 36 car count, 36 cars as a car count is low now. I think without it, you'd be looking at 30 car fields, 28 car fields. It would be unrecognizable to what we see today.
Yeah, I'm glad we had a long discussion about this, because that was like one of the first things I wanted to talk about. I'm like, because like the owners want this, and then NASCAR wants this. Like, it's very interesting.
It's like I kind of echo what Eric says here. It took me by surprise. I didn't think it was even on the table anymore.
Yeah, I think because didn't Steve Phelps or NASCAR put out a statement a few months ago that literally said our #1 priority is extending the charter agreement.
Maybe something like that.
It was something like that. Now maybe NASCAR wants to extend it, but not make it permanent. The teams do want to make it. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe Jim France is like, yeah, we'll sign another 8-year deal. The teams are like, no, we need a permanent commitment. Maybe that's the hiccup. Maybe it's not quite as radical or black and white, one or the other, as we're thinking.
You have to think it affects in some way the TV revenue split. It has to affect it, and especially if they got on the same page with the revenue split. And then, by the way, now that we got this all figured out, we might want to take this charter thing away after a while, or maybe not make it permanent. That changes the dynamic of it, because they're probably, if they did agree on the TV money, they're negotiating with the charter system in mind.
Yeah. Interesting. KMS just said in the chat, did y'all see Daytona in the Mr. Beast video? Did y'all see that crossover?
I did. I saw that. Yeah.
So I knew he was there, and I don't know how I missed that. how did I miss this blimp that said I love Carl's mom?
I didn't
It
see
looked
that
like
either.
it looked like some little fake editing. I think they probably flew that on like Thursday or Friday. There were some shots of empty stands. Did y'all notice in the video? There's a few shots of like empty grandstands. I'm like, okay, so did they film this on Monday?
I feel like they wouldn't have had permission to actually run this here in the Daytona 500.
Yeah, maybe they didn't.
I did not see a whatever Carl's mom.
Well, and side note, I know for a fact that he was up in a box during the Daytona 500. So
it's on his Instagram story.
Michael Marutz was in it too.
Oh yeah, yeah. He made a little slight cameo.
That's hilarious.
That.
Oh, wow.
I will give NASCAR some credit. Yes, a lot of their like desperate attempts to market are a little corny, a little cheesy, and this was too. But Mr. Beast is very.
That's someone that should have went after a long time ago.
That's not a bad idea.
Didn't he get turned down to sponsor a truck at one point?
I think
2018.
I think the story was that he actually pulled out the sponsorship because he didn't realize something about either where the truck was going to run or it was something like that.
He probably got turned down, told he wasn't going to be able to like film at the track or something.
Knowing NASCAR's policies at that time, that's probably what it was.
Well, especially then YouTube was so new. I doubt he would have gotten a
but thankfully, at least for us as well, times have changed.
If this NASCAR truck can finish above 30th, I will give a brand new heart transplant to 100 different children.
And then you get crucified online for it.
Wait. It's like, I paid this NASCAR driver $10,000, and for every one car he can pass, I will give him another $10,000.
Yeah, what he doesn't realize is that I haven't paid him in full. So you didn't finish above 25th. Had you done that, I'd have sponsored the whole season, but instead I'll sponsor next week.
Hey, you just mentioned the number 25. Somebody got 25 points. Is
he out of the negative?
I think so, right? He has to be.
Yeah, he's out. We're all below him in the point standings. Finally, good job.
So, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna go to the standings and see if I can find him now.
Yeah,
because forever you couldn't even find him.
But for those who don't know, Justin Haley, if anybody wants to get into
that.
Yeah, his penalty was I guess he was already out of the negative. He had 1 point. Now he has 26.
Okay. But
today was Kaulig Racing's appeal. They also had one of their louvers on the 31 car confiscated at Phoenix a few weeks back. They got hit with the same penalty Hendrick did, $100,000, 4-race suspension for the crew chief. 100 regular season points, 10 playoff points. Their appeal was today, and it did not go nearly as well as Hendrick's did last week. The suspensions and fines, just like in the Hendrick case, have been upheld. But unlike Hendrick, who got all the points rescinded for all 4 of their cars and drivers, Justin Haley and the 31 team still have a 75-point penalty, all 10 playoff points. That still sticks. So Hendrick won their appeal last week, I think we can say.
Yeah.
Kaulig, it's slightly better, but they did not win their appeal. I'll just say this: the optics look terrible because on the surface, Hendrick and Kaulig did basically the same thing. Hendrick was arguably worse because it was 8 total louvers as opposed to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yet Hendrick got off virtually scot-free. Kaulig did not. Now, Chris Rice did say they may, or it sounds like they're suggesting they might go to the final appeals officer. Who's like some guy, I forget who it is. It's just a guy.
Some guy.
He's like, I think he owns
some guy.
I read it. I forget the guy's name. It's somebody in the comments.
It's somebody.
I forgot the name. It's somebody I know. I recognize the name.
He's Mr. NASCAR. He runs NASCAR.
We'll call him that. He's that guy. But the optics are bad for sure. But until we get some transparency, and this may not come until after, this may not come ever, but it's probably not going to come until after the final appeal is heard. But can we please get an explanation? I know it would be unprecedented, but can we please get an explanation from the appeals panel as to why Hendrick's results were different than Kaulig's? I think the fan base is owed that. I think NASCAR needs to beat it out of them if they have to.
Yeah.
I say this admittedly as a Hendrick fan. I'm pissed. This is horrible to see.
Now,
we just don't know. We don't like. So I don't want to dominate the conversation.
Now, quick question. I got a quick question. I don't know if this was revealed or not. I saw KMS had put something about it in the chat earlier. Was this a different appeals panel?
Yes.
Like, was this okay? So this was a different appeals panel. So I know, obviously the optics look bad. We're looking at the situation going, they're clearly playing favorites with Hendrick Motorsports. But the fact is, this was a totally different appeals panel. Now, granted, I wouldn't count this as a W because they didn't get everything back like Hendrick, but I mean, like, yeah, optics wise, it does not look good at all. It's just not even, no way to sugarcoat it. Bad PR day overall for NASCAR, because not only do you have that, this coming out, but then the whole boycott stuff coming out, on the same day. And I think, and, literally just hours apart from each other too. So NASCAR, hey, I don't know who the social media admin is, but just take a break.
It just from the outside, it looks like blatant favoritism. It does. Like, there's no way around that.
Yeah.
And there's, like, I don't blame fans for thinking that, because we haven't got any explanation whatsoever. We have no idea. I don't know. Maybe we do at this point who was on this one compared to the last one. We know who was on the last one. And I even saw some people on Twitter, we actually that were talking about it and saying that maybe there is a difference of what effect a legacy team has versus an upstart. I'm not saying it's in on purpose, but just more there is more of a pull with Hendrick Motorsport.
So the appeals panel in this case was Hunter Nickel, Steve York, and Shauna Robertson.
Robinson.
Yep.
Oh, I love
that's a unique panel right there.
Yeah, very unique panel. But yeah, just optics, it looks bad.
How do you even measure like this? Okay, just trying to rack my brain around this. How do you even measure how severe a penalty should be anymore if you don't even know if it's going to stick, or if it's going to get changed every time, or if you like, how do you even take this serious? Because at this point, I don't take it serious until the appeal's done.
No, it's really hard because, like, nowadays, whenever there is a penalty, I'm always thinking, okay, no, just wait for the appeal, because that's the real penalty. That'll be the real answer. Yeah.
You don't know anymore if it's even going to stick. So it's not even really going to hit in that moment. Like, team will just go on as usual if they think they're fine. Maybe the crew chief will be gone. So it makes a difference in that way. But it's hard to take it serious. If every racing series or sports league did this, where they penalize somebody and then take it away or back and forth like this with people who have, based on what they say, nothing really to do with NASCAR independently, it's just, I don't understand how to take it serious. And it's hard for me to rack my brain around it.
It's why we need the transparency, because if Hendrick had the receipts and were at least able to put the penalty into question, then that's one thing. Because I will say this: Hendrick was quick to announce their appeal. Kaulig waited longer to finally say, okay, we're also going to appeal. Remember, Chris Rice put that little video out where he was like, we'll let you know what we're doing tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna, like, this is a bad day, whatever. And then they waited a day to finally submit an appeal. Maybe they didn't have the same evidence. They may not have had receipts that Hendrick did, and that's why they lost their appeal. That's the thing is, we just don't know. It looks to me, it sounds like Hendrick. No, I don't even want to speculate because we don't know. Like, Kaulig looks more innocent on the outside. To me, it looks like Kaulig got a piece that didn't fit because the suppliers don't always give you perfectly matching parts. They put the part on the car anyways, and NASCAR caught it.
But this is
Hendrick. It looked like they actually modified parts. Like, they received parts that maybe didn't fit, whatever, and they modified all 8 of them and got caught. So to me, it sounds like Kaulig is more innocent, but that's speculation. We need to see the evidence. We need that transparency, and we're probably not going to get it, but we can still scream about it. We can yell for it all we want.
My issues
with the appeals.
My issues with the appeals panel at this point. Like, it blatantly undermines any penalties given, fair or unfair. I don't know. I'm frustrated with it because there's no clear path on what a penalty is, who gets what. When did they? My question is, how long have they been doing it this? Because I never remember this stuff until a couple years ago.
Couple of years, right?
Yeah, maybe longer. I mean, there's been a form of an appeals panel for at least a decade or longer.
Yeah,
but this specifically, I think it's a couple of years. Yeah,
but this kind of situation is popping up so frequently now that it's taking away from everything else we could be talking about. We should not have to talk about appeals almost every damn week this year.
And I wanted to point this out really quick too. Like this type of stuff, especially for NASCAR fans, I mean, it really just like ruins the sport to an extent, because you keep hearing about all these like different penalties and stuff. But the problem is, I think fans would feel a lot better about these, types of appeals, these types of appeal situations if the sport was more transparent than they have been, like, hey, this is what happened, such and such. Just tell us what's going on. I feel like that's the main issue. Just explain what's going on. We may not agree with the penalties, but just tell us, give us the deets, what's happening.
The way they do it, take some points away, take all the points away, but you still get fined. It's still a penalty, even though it's fine. Like, there's no the transparency, yes, but there's just no clarity. Well, that's basically transparency. There's no, there's just, it does not make sense.
I think if NASCAR wanted to capitalize on this, transparency, and also, I don't know, young people I find love watching trials these days. I don't know if you like between the Johnny Depp.
Hey, Darryl Brooks trial.
I'm just saying,
hilarious.
they should have popped a camera in whatever little meeting or courtroom they use, and they should have streamed the entire appeal, every appeal, all of the appeal. They should just stream it live. You can listen. You can tune in during the day and listen to Jeff Gordon present Hendrick's arguments. You can listen to Steve O'Donnell present NASCAR's. And
we should do a live stream. We should do a live reaction.
Comment on it. Like I'm just saying, it would not only be great content, it would be incredibly engaging to give people something to talk about. But you would also have transparency, and you couldn't if there was any shady shit going on. You're not going to let it slip by. It's NASCAR, good for the integrity of the sport.
All they got to do is set up a live stream for the whole day, and they'll get ad dollars from that one guy that tells you about all the diet fads you need to jump on all the time.
Just turn on super chats and Twitch subscriptions.
Go nuts with it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you might as well have fun with it because, I mean, we're talking about a freaking appeals panel. Like we were talking about, we were talking about racing for about a good hour and a half. And now, the second half.
And now the politics. This is what I was warning y'all.
Yep. But the politics of the sport, it's very unappealing in my opinion right now. But if NASCAR were able,
no pun intended.
So NASCAR just set up a live stream, and then midway through, all you gotta do is go up here and hit this button that says insert ad. And oh wait, accidentally did it.
If NASCAR is able to maybe just mark this whole appeals thing differently, live stream it and stuff, then maybe I'd feel a different type of way.
I feel like NASCAR court would fit right in alongside, Judge Judy, Dr. Phil, as far as
oh my God, we're going daytime television route.
Yeah, I know, bro. We're going doing that. But yeah, we just want more transparency. Please.
In NASCAR's TV providers, there'll be a Peacock exclusive within a year.
A Peacock exclusive.
Danny, did you just insert a fucking ad?
I said I accidentally did it.
I didn't hear you.
I thought maybe it would give me an option to say are you sure you want to? If I didn't think just hitting it would actually put it in there.
It's all good.
That's funny.
It's all good. That would be the only ad, we promise.
I can't wait for the watch back audience.
Side note, I just always wanted to see how that worked too. Because just click it. There it goes.
It did. It just
There's
turned
an
ad.
All right, but is that it for the appeals thing? I feel like
I think we're just going.
Over.
Yeah, we're getting in circles now.
Okay. Yeah, all the YouTube premium members are laughing right now.
All right, but Danny, you're going to be at a race this weekend, correct?
I am going to be at a race this weekend. Me and Claudia both will be at Bristol Motor Speedway for the 3rd annual dirt race at Bristol Motor Speedway. So this weekend we have got the Cup Series with the Food City Dirt Race, formerly known as the Food City 500, now the Food City Dirt Race. 250 laps for this one. Start time is 7 p.m. Eastern time on Big Fox with radio coverage by PRN. As far as weather this weekend, Sunday, we're looking okay. A high of 66 degrees, sunny, and a 13% chance of rain. Now, last year we saw some rain sprinkled in there. We can have some rain. We just can't have an overwashed out, muddy track. We just can't do that. The defending winner of this race should have been the 8 car, I think. But the defending winner of this race still is the 8 car because Kyle Busch is the guy that won the race last year. The truck race, oddly enough, very appropriate. The Weather Guard Truck Dirt Race, 150 laps. This race is scheduled to start at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on FS1 with radio coverage MRN or PRN? I thought PRN had all the ones, but I guess it's not.
MRN does the truck series.
Okay, MRN does all the truck series. Weather for this one, though, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm leaning towards maybe finding something else to do on Saturday because first of all, things don't get started until 4 p.m. anyways. We got a 95% chance of rain on Saturday. High 54 degrees. I'm thinking they won't be hitting the track on Saturday. Sad to say that.
Yeah.
The defending winner of the Truck Series race, though, is Benjamin Rhodes.
Yeah, Benjamin Rhodes.
Now, Darian, what are the people in Vegas saying about this one?
Oh, yes. Time for the famous betting odds on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Kyle Larson enters this weekend as the odds-on favorite at plus 500. Tyler Reddick is plus 600, almost won this race a year ago. Christopher Bell plus 700, Chase Briscoe plus 900, and rounding out the favorites is Kyle Busch at plus 1,000. As for the best of the rest, William Byron plus 1,200, Joey Logano plus 1,400, Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney both 1,600, and finally Daniel Suarez plus 1,800. As for the famous underdogs, Brad Keselowski plus 3,300 this weekend. His teammate Christopher Bell, or not Christopher Bell, Chris Buescher is plus 4,000. Josh Berry coming off of a runner-up finish last weekend, plus 5,000. Jonathan Davenport plus 6,600. Very interesting. And finally, all hell McDowell supremacy. Michael McDowell enters this weekend at plus 8,000. So very interesting as far as that's concerned. As for the NWP fantasy standings, very interesting indeed. I am no longer the inside the top 5, but I'm still in the top 10 at least. But so far, Danny B. Wife is P1, followed by Reki Spinhouse in P2. P3 is Kenseth Legacy 2. So Eric, that's a tribute to Kenseth, like that name. And currently tied for P4 is Esta Baby and 48 Nation. Now, as for the second league, NWP Fantasy League 2, I'm still in the top 5 in that. Not bad. But my favorite name, of course, Oh No, We Suck Again, Blaney's Pick Through P1. And that was apparent last weekend. Very apparent.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Riblet, like that name too, and currently in P2. Race Roar 48, P3. Black Flags Matter, P4. And rounding out the top 5 is Girly Man 05. Excuse me, it's ma'am. Now, let's move on to picks.
Yeah, so before we get into this, I just want to go ahead and preface this. Friday, we have a 90% chance of rain at Bristol Motor Speedway. Saturday, we know there's a pretty high percentage for rain. So before we start picking people, I just want to remind everybody, there is no standard qualifying for this race. They have heats. If the heats do not happen Saturday, then those that need to race their way in will not have a chance to race their way in, meaning that some of these trucks, although they have drivers that look capable of doing well, may not be in the race. So I'm just trying to let you all know before you pick somebody who may or may not be there.
And also, really quick question. Do we want to implement the whole Amarola rule for the chat, or were we even serious talking about that? Or no?
I am
Do we
at
want
this
to
point.
implement that? All right,
Yeah.
all right. Hey, chat, you can't pick Amarola as a suck pick. We've already been decided.
And if you go overboard on the dark horse pick, we're just gonna say screw it. You can't
Yeah.
pick.
So with that
week.
being said, Eric, who will be the truck winner?
Well, hey,
Well,
hold on.
you gotta
we
tell
gotta
them
tell
how.
the points. Points first.
Oh, sorry.
This is my
there
favorite
you go,
part of
there
the
you go.
show.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Wow, your lead got smaller this week.
Yeah, it's still my favorite part of the show.
Spoiler alert, Eric will be first because what I just said. He has 147 points right now. Chat, you are in second, minus 23 back. Jarrett, you are third, minus 29. I am fourth, minus 45. And Darian, you are still barely in the basement, minus 48.
I'm getting closer to you though, Danny.
I'm seeing a gap get formed up.
Yeah, hey, good job, Eric.
We're running in those little tiny packs, and then Eric's running away.
Yeah, pretty much.
I had my worst week of the season this last weekend. I don't remember who I picked for trucks and Xfinity, but I know Cup I still did okay, but not as good as usual. So
yeah. Hey, chat, you actually gained a couple. Yep, Blue Jimmy. Yep, you actually gained a couple of points.
And this
Good
is
job.
the system, by the way, for everyone who wants to see it.
Yeah, so pretty fair system, in my opinion. Pretty fair. All right, so now it's time to pick.
trucks.
All right.
Danny, you kind of mentioned it. The weather has me a little concerned. I know a few folks in here picked Bowman at Coda a few weeks ago, and then qualifying didn't happen, so he didn't even make the race.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Davenport's in the 7 truck. Very enticing pick, but it is his first NASCAR race. Joey Logano's in the 66. To me, that would be my pick, but I'm a little worried about qualifying, and I don't believe that 66 has enough owners points. I could be wrong, and if so, it may blow up in my face.
They haven't raced this year.
I don't think they've raced this year, but I don't know if
No.
maybe something carries over from last year. The rules are always so convoluted and complicated. I'm always missing something. So I'm going to go Carson Hocevar. I think he'll go back to back. The floodgates have opened.
Yeah, I was gonna go Logano first, and if I find out he's locked in, I'll go with Logano. But until then, I'm going Hocevar.
And I'm going to go again. I really thought Davenport seemed enticing. Logano seems enticing, but I don't think that those trucks will even have a chance. I'm going with a guy who is enticing, though, and the truck will be locked in. William Byron in the 51 for KBM this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Byron's very interesting, but I'm going to go with Hocevar as well. Yep. The floodgates are going to open for Hocevar. 1 win is all it took. Now can't wait for more.
Chat is seeming pretty split between Rhodes and Byron at this time.
Okay. Sounds like a poll. Sounds like a poll if you think that's fair.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
that is fair.
Oh, is Jessica Friesen racing this weekend too?
She
I'm not picking
is.
her, though.
That's cool. Yeah, we're not going to pick her to win, but that's cool though.
Just to make that clear.
Alrighty, there you go. There's a truck poll for it, a 99 and a 51.
Hey,
We'll give you
Norm
all some
is
time.
back this week.
Oh,
Norm.
And suddenly Jarrett wants to buy a ticket.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna sit there.
All right.
No.
Next picks. So what's next? Who's gonna suck? Who's gonna suck for the cup race?
Yeah.
You said the chat couldn't pick Eric Almirola. You didn't say anything
Nope.
about host double A Eric Almirola. I'll go him. This just doesn't seem like his style. I don't think so.
The chat can't pick him, and you immediately pick him just to rub it in. Oh, it's funny.
You know, screw it. Just because I want to troll the chat, I'm gonna say Almirola also.
No.
I'm not doing this to you guys. Bubba Wallace is he's wanting to trucks on dirt, but he ain't gonna do well on dirt here.
I'm not gonna pick the chin chat. I promise. I am gonna pick Martin Truex Jr. though. 1 top 10 in 7 races. I mean, look, you know, I think maybe at some point they'll eventually somewhat turn it around, but not this weekend. Not yet. Maybe in the next couple races, but not yet.
Looks like the chat's going up Harvick. A lot of them are going up for him.
All right,
Yeah.
let's give it that then.
All right, let's give him that.
Also, it looks like they're going for Byron for the truck pick.
Yeah,
I believe you're right. So we'll give him Byron.
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 Will
Byron.
it
He's
really
locked
be?
in. He's locked in the race too. Just FYI.
Yep.
So you're good there. All right. Now the
Next
next
up is who is the underdog on dirt?
All right, underdogs, Eric.
I just feel like these dirt races, like, yeah, Larson's been pretty good. Last year, Chase Briscoe was in contention until he, wrecked the leader. Bell is usually in the top 10 or top 5, but I feel like it's always kind of a non-dirt dude who ends up winning these races. Like Kyle Busch last year, the year before that was Joey Logano. So I'll just go with a good old fashioned short track guy who's, I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder after he called everyone hacks a couple weeks ago. He's going to be ready to body some folks. Ryan Preece. Go Preece is my underdog.
Good pick.
McDowell supremacy. Michael McDowell will get at least a top 10, I think, this week.
I'm just calling it right now before I give my pick, but the chat is going up to 10 for their underdog.
They went from suck to
Oh,
underdog pick. All right, go ahead.
Hey,
We'll have to
that
ban
tells me
both soon.
Almirola is improving.
All right, he's improving now, so I'm Roll's underdog.
Okay. So for my underdog, if he's in the race, we'll see if he is. I don't feel as bad wasting it on the underdog pick, but I'll go with Jonathan Davenport if he's in the race.
I think he will, because there's not 40 cars.
Yeah, there's 37 this week.
He'll be in.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll
so
be good.
So then Jonathan Davenport is my underdog for the Cup race.
Yeah. Hey, this team's on a roll. I thought they were about to fall off a cliff once the old crew chief left, but hey, I'm liking me some McDowell supremacy. Michael McDowell.
That's
I'm
right.
feeling it. I'm feeling it this weekend, bro. I'm feeling it. And the chat's feeling Almirola. I guess that
Yeah,
they can't pick
they-
him who's gonna suck.
they-
They're gonna pick him for underdog.
They want him to do good, I guess.
Hey, yeah, yep. Yeah, NASCAR fan 24, GN NASCAR fan 24, 3D chess. Yep, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, and side note, they know that they can't have someone make him win too by doing that.
Ah, good point. Good point.
Might have to ban that soon if that keeps up.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see.
You can only pick Almirola to win.
Hey,
We like-
they're going to send it to the appeals panel, and they're going to get it overturned.
I blame
Who's our appeals
Chastain.
panel?
Who's the appeals
our
panel?
appeals
Claudia, Shugs.
Yeah, we'll have Claudia and Shugs. We need a third person to break the
Love
tie.
Chris, do it.
IDK?
Okay.
No, not IDK. He started the whole thing in the first place.
Yeah, we'll just,
Alright.
Eric's girlfriend.
yeah,
All right.
we'll
Now, enough of all this appeals talk. I'm sick of all these politics. No need
it's
to add
disgusting.
that. Anyways, now to the main event. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Dirt Bristol? Points leader.
Dan, yo, swallow. I
Okay.
was trying to do like an echo effect. I don't think it worked.
It was decent. It sounded decent.
Yeah,
Decent.
cool. Thanks. Amazing.
All right.
I didn't pull up. I don't have his numbers pulled up. I think he was fourth in 2021. Then last year he led a bunch of laps. I don't think he finished inside the top 10, but he's led like 50 laps in each of the 2 years of Bristol Dirt. So I like Suarez.
You cannot forget his 2021 run. Like that was out of nowhere. It felt like, but that was cool.
But he led 50 laps last year too. So
Yeah.
Lightning keeps striking.
Bro, Trackhouse was just an underdog team at the time. Oh boy, at the times it changed 2 years later.
I'm going to go with the guy who has the best average finish of anyone on Dirt Bristol, a 2.0. That's Joey Logano.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go Joey on this one. Joey.
Not bad.
Joey, I love you.
He's been getting all the top tens. He's having a great year. His teammates have won. He hasn't. He has a dirt background. He's running that awesome new black car for the first time this weekend. We're going to go with Alex Bowman to try to get done with his dirt background.
It'll hit eventually when you pick him.
Yeah. Hey, I think this guy.
It'll eventually happen when I'm there.
Hey, I think this guy's on a revenge tour. He already has 1 win this season. He should have had 4 wins last year, but one of them got taken away on the final lap, which he admitted, hey, I let Chase Briscoe get to me. It was my fault. Tyler Reddick's going to avenge last year's loss with a W this weekend.
Avenge me.
Avenge.
All right.
I'm seeing some 45s, a lot of 5s.
Seeing a good amount of 45s.
Saw mostly 5s though, but I could be wrong.
It was just
no, I've only seen 5 by one person.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I guess they go in Reddick.
You
sure you want to trust Darian's pick?
I've seen
'Cause I picked
20
Wilson
and 45 the most. I think 20 and 45 is who we do the poll for on this.
Okay,
one.
so
I agree.
Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick for the chat. Okay. I mean, I was
Okay.
surprised. I mean, I only saw Larson a few times, but yeah, no,
Okay.
never mind.
Okay.
Okay. So while you run the poll,
okay,
I think it's a great
okay.
time for Danny to close off the super chat segment here as well.
Well,
after he
it's
puts it in.
it's me who runs the poll too.
Yeah.
But okay, so there we go. Dirty poll. Answer me in the dirt. 20 or 45.
Yeah.
Dirty
All right.
poll.
Dirty poll.
Sounds like
Oh,
a
no,
name
that's
of a
not what we-
certain establishment.
That's not what we call them around these parts.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Usually where I'm from, if the poll is dirty, they have to close down the place. Yeah.
All right. Well, dang, y'all gave a lot of super chats here lately. Appreciate all that. Let's go back to where we last were. Got to remember who it was. Okay, we last left off with Ross Chastain. I'm going to be picking up with Isaac. Appreciate the $4.99. Which crime Chastain committed was worse? Wiping out the dinosaurs, flaring Jared's allergies, or greenlighting a live-action Moana remake?
Oh,
They
the
did
third one.
They did that?
Easily the third one.
Moana's not even that old of a movie.
I think I heard, yeah, they're doing that, aren't they? Am I crazy?
Man, they're remaking every movie.
If
now.
they don't
It's-
get The Rock to play his same character,
yeah.
D, the Little Mermaid remake. I
Alex
just wanted to
Luff,
stoke the
appreciate
fires on that one.
Alex Luff, appreciate the $5. Forget we don't talk about Bruno from Encanto the way some people act. It'll be we don't talk about Ross. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Ah.
I get the reference.
Gotcha.
It's nothing. Appreciate the $5. Weekly question: if you could turn one existing paved track into a dirt track other than Bristol, what track and why?
Talladega for the hell of it.
Yeah, I was about to say Dirt Talladega just for you see what happens. Super Speedway dirt racing. Oh boy.
You know what?
Dirt Roval.
Jarrett might hate this, but if it just gets them there, period, dirt Chicagoland.
Oh, they're basically doing that with Supercross.
Yeah. So you'll get to witness that.
true.
Yeah.
Wade Lamb, appreciate the $1.99. Is it time for JGR to break up MTJ and James Small? I think we kind of talked about this earlier. It might be.
I'd say personally just give it a few more weeks, but if it doesn't get any better, then maybe.
I think unless it goes really bad, I think you see it through the end of the year.
Antar Doss, appreciate the $4.99. If I was a driver, I would constantly wreck Chastain and constantly deny I did it on purpose. It would be great entertainment.
It would. That would
Expensive.
Be it'd be expensive, but entertaining for us.
And
So give us something to talk about.
You might eventually get punched doing that, but you know.
You guys think Ross Chastain is a fighter? Can you see Ross punching someone?
I mean, he's a Florida man.
He's a Florida man.
Yeah,
I can see him.
Did you hear that? Like that shriek he gave before throwing the melon off the Coda Tower?
It's like,
I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would punch you, but I could easily see a watermelon get slammed on your head.
He'll certainly wreck you, though. That's for sure. He'll certainly wreck you.
Palm Tree 82, appreciate the $5. Really enjoyed the fans going from get Barry out of the 9 car last week to should Barry replace Chase this week.
I got a post race question about that. I'm like, no.
Oh,
hell.
Oh, that was a serious. No. Was it a serious question? Or
yes.
Was it oh, okay. That's interesting.
B1624, appreciate the $5. Supposedly last year, Bush said if Chastain, swear those guys are going to mess with that boy and find themselves with a watermelon up there.
Oh,
did he really say that?
Okay,
maybe.
Yeah, interesting.
670 horsepower package win. Appreciate the $2 from you. Larson fans have PTSD from streaming. Yep.
Oh god.
I think NASCAR fans in general have that with him.
You're talking
that
night
bud. Too. Yeah, that was a crazy night.
It's Chastain's fault.
Okay, so David Bell has been a member for a month. I don't know why it said he was a new member and now he's a member for 1 month, but appreciate you sticking around being a member for a month there, David Bell. 670 horsepower package win. Appreciate the $5. Slap/Imp Lemon have made more young NASCAR fans than anything else with their content. Agree with that. They've all done a good job of bringing in some new eyes.
It's genuine. It's organic. It's not forced and corporate.
Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Yeah,
great.
Sponsored by NordVPN.
Not for long after what they signed in.
Ooh. Joseph Knuckles, appreciate the $10. Speaking about driver streaming, 2 years ago, Chase Elliott played Fortnite with I'm going to butcher this. I don't know, SPHYERPK. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Just am imagining some 12-year-old dancing in Fortnite over Chase Elliott now, and I can't get it out of my head.
So he streamed with that streamer and Nick A30, which are huge streamers, and they also attended the Daytona 500. I thought it was cool at the time.
Yeah, you should get back into it. There you go.
But that was so 2 years ago. That was so that would have been, a time where I guess the drivers didn't have as much going on.
Yeah.
Trevor Bailey, appreciate you becoming a new member of Danny B Superfans. Appreciate the support there, Trevor. Ross Chastain, appreciate the $5. Speaking of inspection, the 5 and 9 got P1 and 2, which results in a full teardown. The 2 random cars that NASCAR took back to R&D were the 24 and 48. How about that? They had to look at all the Hendrick guys, so they all got looked at.
Everybody.
Marky Mark, appreciate the $4. Take a look at what Chastain did.
Take a look at what he did.
And he did everything, apparently. 4J Blind Spot, ROLJ, appreciate the $4.99. I'm just glad everything isn't Bubba's fault anymore. Chastain has stolen the scapegoat crown. Raise hell, praise Daryl, and as always, R.I.P. NASCAT.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's right.
Mittens.
Yeah. R.I.P. Mittens.
Mark Martin fan for life. Appreciate the $4.99. Today's ruling is proof that Hendrick has bought the appeals panel. No other explanation makes sense to him.
Also, props to.
Then I don't think you're thinking hard.
It's just plot armor.
And speaking of Mark Martin, props to Eric on getting him on your little other show.
Oh yeah. When I asked, spoiler alert, I asked him what current drivers does he think remind him the most of himself? And Mark Martin, do you know who the first driver Mark Martin said?
No.
First name out of his mouth, you'll never guess.
Logano.
Ross Chastain.
What?
What?
Now,
What?
he did say, and you'll hear the full episode tomorrow, he did say that he wishes Chastain was a little tidier and that he would pick and choose his aggressiveness sometimes.
Okay.
I think he relates more with Chastain's grassroots upbringing.
Okay.
That makes sense.
But
Yeah,
it
that
was
makes
the
sense.
first name he said, and I almost fell out of my chair.
That makes sense. Yeah.
See,
So tune into that tomorrow.
It's also probably that he doesn't want to say Denny Hamlin because Denny Hamlin sadly has 3 of those Daytona 500 wins.
Ah. There you go.
Joshua Gray, appreciate the $10. I feel like the next TV deal will play a big role in the fate of charters. Remember, the tracks currently receive 60% of the revenue, and the teams want at least double of the 20% they receive now.
Yeah.
Yep, that would make sense.
Mhm.
Shorty PJM, appreciate the $5. Think both NASCAR fans and drivers need to learn. Texas is not for them to police to be bulldozed because IndyCar puts on electric races there. So basically, just saying, give it to IndyCar, and NASCAR can stay the heck away from it.
There you go. That's fair. I'm cool with that.
Or NASCAR can go to the little dirt track behind turn 2.
Heck,
Yeah.
give Texas 3 IndyCar races, and we'll just settle it.
Oh gosh, just give us more ovals in general, and we'll love it.
Groovy Goose, appreciate the $4.99. Today I found out that I'll be graduating university by the end of the semester. I thank you guys for the videos, streams, and content to help me through it. Hey,
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm
You know,
happy for
I
you.
watched a lot of YouTube while I was in college, so I can understand.
Hey.
It needs some entertainment to get you through it.
You know what? I think my problem was I watched too many YouTubers because I didn't finish yet and became a YouTuber.
became
So
one.
I should go back. I should go back and finish up school. I'm really close though. I'm really close, but it's really cool to see somebody else say they graduated. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Austin Blanset, appreciate the $4.99. Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Here's my question. What do you think the future holds for Dirt Bristol? Does dirt racing have a future in NASCAR? For the time being, it's going to stick around. And I think its future depends mostly on the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Because I think with the people at Bristol being the ones who are going to be controlling that, I've always fought for a long time that Dirt Bristol is just a placeholder, and that eventually we could see a spring date at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
And also, Food City signed an extension to sponsor the race last year. I think like a 3-5 year deal.
Yeah.
So I think
And
the dirt race is going to be for a while.
And Food City, I think, would still have a relationship with Bristol Motor Speedway. I wouldn't see them getting involved with the track in Nashville because there is no Food Cities around here.
No, but there's a lot of food cities.
I think it all depends on how many people watch. They've had big audiences both years, both on TV and attendance.
If they can still keep doing good, there might be a place where they can all coexist with each other.
Well, at that point, you got to look at Nashville Super Speedway compared to Fairgrounds. At that point.
If Dirt Bristol is doing good in the long run compared to Nashville Super Speedway, either way, I think the answer lies in with Nashville itself. Somewhere that's all going to come to a blow at some point. That's how I see it. Okay. Isaac, appreciate the $1.99. Hashtag justice for Haley. Joseph Knuckles, appreciate the $2. Does NASCAR get rid of the appeals panel? They can't really get rid of that. That's not really on them.
No,
I'm sure they could. Maybe they could reform it, but like they probably have to do that like later in the season. They
live stream it. Live stream it.
I glanced at Twitter a moment ago because we're over here screaming about transparency, and I saw Bozy retweeted part of the rule book that basically says like directly, neither party, neither the appeals panel, NASCAR, or the team should make any details of like an appeal decision public or face serious penalty. So they're gonna have to rewrite that part of the rule book if we want transparency.
Yeah,
so stupid.
That's stupid though, bro. It's so dumb.
I wish I could. I need to go find the real thing because it's
funny.
Written.
That's funny because we were talking about that though, like for a while though, Eric, and then you just see
here.
that.
Okay, let me just read it real quick. I know this is a tangent.
Go ahead.
Appeals summaries shall be confidential and not released to the public by either party or shared or discussed via social media in any manner, whether in whole or in part. Release to the public may result in a penalty if the decision of the appeals panel subsequent to blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's a bunch of BS. Anyway, but that was the main part. That was the big.
Talking about the appeals process will lead to another penalty.
I just like kind of like don't talk about it on social media. And I know we weren't in the room, so we're not subject to this rule. But here we are. Just all social media has been doing the past 24 hours is talking about this penalty.
Y'all keep getting in your own way, man. Y'all just keep getting in their way.
All right, Danny. Go ahead, Danny. Apologies.
Oh, that's great.
No, you're good. Mark Martin, fan for life. Appreciate it. $4.99. Penalties need to be either fully upheld or fully overturned. No adjustments. That's a fair point too.
I can't argue that.
Not that we know, we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop talking about it, guys. Oh my gosh.
No, we can't talk about it.
Need for Speed 5353. Appreciate the $5. Just a reminder that Ty Dillon won the heat race he was in last year.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That.
All right,
we were
good.
there. We were there. That's right.
Bang
Well
the
played, Need
banner!
for Speed.
Banner. Heat winner.
Bruce Morgan, appreciate the $4.99. You guys do a great job. 2+ hours of intelligent NASCAR conversation analysis. Happy to make a small contribution. Bruce, we appreciate that. Good
Thank
to see you, man.
And he
You're
called
way-
us intelligent. Bro.
Yeah,
We
you
were
were way
nice,
too
bro.
kind.
Yeah,
Way
way
too
too
kind,
with
Bruce.
that.
Bruce is he's one of those faces that I recognize a lot from Super Chats. I appreciate that, Bruce, and
Thank
good
you.
to see you.
Bruce.
I've been called a lot of
Uh,
things on the internet. Intelligent is not one of them.
Yeah,
That's a rare-
that's a rarity, Bruce. So
Yeah,
we
that's a
appreciate
first,
that,
bro. Yeah,
Hey,
it's usually
Bruce-
dumbass.
Bruce. Yeah, Bruce just made the ego go this size today.
For real.
We're gonna be.
Uh,
I'm gonna remember this moment when we all give Hall of Fame speeches.
Yeah,
Absolutely. In fact, I think Bruce is going to induct us.
Yeah, you and yeah.
Honest to
make
God,
us,
if that ever
induct
happened,
us,
I
please.
would want that. Honest to God, if that ever happened, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Pog Proud, appreciate the $5. Stream landed on my birthday. Can't wait for the cars to get dirty on Bristol. Hey, happy birthday
Nice.
to you.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
Enjoy the dirty cars.
Hmm?
Alex, appreciate the $2. My suck pick, 12 and 23 pit crew.
Oh yeah. Well, 23, they've been a little better on pit road.
Well, they had that one guy fall over or trying to catch a tire on Sunday.
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot.
No. They're gonna see that it's overheating and say, "Send it back out, boys."
My bad. Never mind.
Just
Yeah,
like last
23.
year.
They'd been better, I think, before that.
Okay, but yeah, that was bad look. And then Michael Jordan just shaking his head like,
Darry, remember last year? Just send them back out there. It's fine. If it's overheating.
oh God, that's right. Oh yeah, it's fine. Just send it
Steam
out. We're
coming
gonna blow
out
it
is
into-
a good thing.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's see here. Alex Luff, appreciate the $10. Norm. And then it says, Woody, could I get you something on draft, Mr. Peterson? Norm, a little early, Woody. Woody, for beer? Norm, for stupid questions. I don't get the reference.
I don't
know.
That sounds random, but hey, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that donation, Alex. I wish I knew a reference. I'm sorry.
Is it from Cheers?
I can't
Oh,
wait.
Cheers.
Maybe.
I
can't wait to
googled
have-
Woody and Norm, and it comes up with a bit from Cheers.
Look up who is Norm Peterson. That was
No,
also something in
I
there.
can't wait.
Yes, that's it. That's Cheers. I've never seen
Okay.
Cheers.
I can't
Oh.
wait to have Norm with a beer and win a dirty pole.
Well, cheers to you, Norm. Go get
Yeah,
him.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
hey,
I never watched Cheers growing up. Sorry.
Side note, speaking of dirty polls, we're gonna give him the 20. That's who the chat's going with. They're going to Christopher Bell.
David Bell loves that. I know he likes that.
So,
He
oh my
likes to see
gosh,
that.
it's like the first time all year we've all picked somebody different.
Wow. Oh, interesting. Eric, you're going down.
It's
finally.
wide open this
Or I'm
weekend.
pulling away.
Look at what we did.
It's nothing. Appreciate it. $2. Who of y'all are going to race this weekend? Just me.
Not me, bro. I'm good.
I don't think I'll be at the tweet up this time. But I might be. I might go check out the pre-race Easter celebration a little bit.
That was cool. That was cool last year. Yeah,
You'll be able to see it anywhere. They put it everywhere in that place.
Yeah. Okay. I enjoyed it, Jarrett. Okay. Andrew Meyer appreciated $2. I made a typo in this super chat. Thanks a lot, Ross. B1624 appreciated $2. Need to have Baloney Burger back as a guest. I agree with that.
cool with
It'd
that.
be good to have him back
Well,
on.
actually, we
Hey,
need to have
maybe actually let's reach out to him maybe for Martinsville because he's kind of a short track guy himself.
Hey, we need to have some guests in general. But hey, we're good. We're good for now, though. We're good. Because when was the last time we had a guest? Damn, it feels like forever.
I say maybe Martinsville. Let's look at getting Baloney Burger on.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, around that. For sure.
That's it. That's it for the super chats.
Wow.
So we appreciate you all for your support to the show. We appreciate everyone for showing up. 363 watching. Only 168 likes tonight. Y'all could have done better than that. We're about to be done, but y'all go ahead and get the
Yeah, click the like button.
Go ahead and get the likes back up a little bit. And
200, please, by the show's end. Appreciate it.
Next week, NASCAR Weekly Podcast will be on Eric's channel on Wednesday night, April 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll go over everything that happened on the dirt in Bristol and get you set up for next week's Martinsville. I gave like Baloney Burger like short notice there.
Well, there's two of them.
That's
Yeah.
true. There's a lot of hopefully there'll be more short tracks in the not so distant future.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, that I'd say that was definitely a W worthy stream for sure. Hopefully the chat agrees with us. I mean, I already see somebody saying NWP, another NWP show. So really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. This was fun. Nearly 2 hours and 30 minutes again, but we have had a lot to talk about the past couple of weeks though. So I mean,
Like I said, my head was spinning all afternoon, so it was nice to sit down with you guys, at everyone in the chat, and try to make some sense. Just think out loud about all the weird news and confusing headlines that have been.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in for sure. But I'm glad.
I'm looking forward to next week's show. Fair
Yeah.
warning,
Yeah.
I'll probably be in a hotel room in Charlotte on next Wednesday, so we'll make sure everything works out. And I'm going to be at Martinsville.
I know.
I'm going to be at Martinsville though next week. So if anyone's looking
I'm just glad. I'm just glad that Jarrett's the one who controls these streams, because I wouldn't trust you if that hotel Wi-Fi.
No, exactly. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't know
They
about
give
you,
me
fair
Darren.
warning.
I might be at Martinsville. I don't know for sure.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah, I'll talk to you
Play,
about
play
that
it by
after the show.
ear. Play it by ear.
Yeah. I'll talk about that after once we go off the air. I'll talk about that.
All right, I'm ready to be done because I'm feeling hot in this room for some reason.
Yep. Well,
Not
it's really
chill.
cold outside too.
You
So,
got
but yeah,
multiple
we gotta-
layers on, Danny. It's not winter anymore. It's
It's
Ah.
it's cold
It's
outside
getting
today
hot.
though. It's cold outside
Oh.
today though. Eric. It's cold.
okay. Y'all
Let's
are
get-
northerners compared to where I'm at.
Let's get going.
Yankees.
All
I want
right.
to stay, Jared. Are we at 200 likes yet?
Let's get going.
Give me one more. We're at 199. Come on, one more.
All right,
like.
one more, and then we
like.
get off the show.
One more
And then we're
like.
off the
Come on,
show.
come on. Where's that one more like?
One
One of
more
y'all
like.
hasn't done it.
One
One of y'all
more
hasn't
like.
done it.
I'm about to do
One
the
more
outro.
like. One more
One of
like.
y'all. Hey,
One more like.
Hey, have you four liked it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I just liked it. 200 likes.
All right. Goodbye.
That's some fun. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We had to go flat. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Kiss your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Look great. Ridiculous, man. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man.